Hello, everyone.
Greetings from New York.
Yep, New York State.
Live.
Live from New York State. I'm just texting someone. Okay. And we'll be right with you. We see many in the chat already.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll
we're
get
coming from you from high on alert. We're high on alert
High on alert. That's what
in
they
New
say.
York State. New York, all of New York State is on high alert. So let's be alert.
Okay.
There's a list here of, I'm looking on our WIBX station.
That's our local radio station.
It's giving a list of cities that in the United States that are on high alert. Well, we, as New York State, the entire state is on high alert. Whereas San Francisco, California, Santa Clara, Los Angeles, San Diego, Houston, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Boca Raton, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Tampa, Boston, Mass, Plainfield, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Cleveland, Ohio. A few more, I think. Potomac, Maryland, Laurel, Maryland, Herndon, Virginia. Oh, look at that. Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Charlotte, North Carolina, Detroit, Michigan, Columbia, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, Denver, Colorado, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Tucson, Arizona, Seattle, Washington, on high alert. We don't know what that means, and we don't worry too much about that. But that's what they say. So let's be on high alert.
And we've had high temperatures too.
Yeah, more like high temperatures is important.
Yeah, a lot of people have. So
it's been hot. It's been hot.
And it cooled off.
Little cooler today.
But we were working outside.
Cooler yet tomorrow.
And it was a scorcher for us. I mean, in the 90s, you know, we're not used to 90s.
No. I wouldn't prefer a hot state either.
No. And we lived in Florida and we lived in Arizona.
No.
Short time.
No.
But, you know, we give you a lot of credit for the ones that live there.
The ones that do, you're strong. Or you have good air conditioning.
Yeah. So, okay, good. So can we say hello
to
who we're? All right.
Here.
I want to see the top. I think John Marciano was at the top.
We can't see the.
Well, I got the thing in the way. Well, John Marciano, I know he was here first. Jane Spitfire, Dallas, Alora Mermaid. Hi, Alora. And ST Copilot. Hi, everyone. And Willie B933. I'll take a large order of freedom, please. Yes. Our topic, slavery or freedom, which? And let's see. We've got a lot of return visits here. We like to see my good wife, Seth. Lance Berkman. Hi, Lance. Glad you could join us. Jay. Hi, Jay. Jay's from New York. And we mean New York State. Hi, Star. Star Paul is in me. Glad to see you here in the chat. And let's see, Sky Graham. Hi, Sky. C. Michelle. Hi, Joe and Fran. My son told me he reached out to you. Yes, he did. And he thought he was the first one to reach out to us, but actually you were. So we told him that we had been in touch with you. And yeah, sometime it'd be nice to see each other. JG. And let's see, we got more coming in. Thank you for joining us. Seth says, hi, Fran and Joe. Dakota says, hi, Fran. Hi, friends. I'm not sure which. Well, hi, Dakota. Did Dakota have a nice birthday party? Maybe he'll tell us about it later. Yes, his birthday. Speaking of birthdays, shall we get right into the birthdays for June? For any of you that are new here, we we give out the birthdays for June. So if we missed your name, please let us know, because in the Watchtower, we weren't allowed to celebrate our birthdays. But here we are, and we can celebrate it all month if we want to. If your birthday was in the beginning of June,
Birth month.
you can still be celebrating it.
Birth month.
So June 2nd, we have Gail White. How do you want to do this? You want to swap back and forth or do half and half?
Go ahead. Swap back and forth.
I said June 2nd.
Whoops, lost it. Vic Cruz.
June 5th.
Go ahead, honey.
June 6th, Gabriel Lemus. That's Dino's daughter. And also Annie's son, June 6th.
June 7th, Debbie Glander. John Drews.
June 9th, Kent Ripple.
June 10th, Ileana, 20 years old.
June 11th, Dwight Kincaid.
And the 12th, June 12th, Al Zelenka and Pixie.
Yes. June 13th, Yvette and Willow. That's Carol Ballard's granddaughter.
June 14th, Dan Clark, Carrie Kay, George Matthew.
June 16th, Sarah Cummins.
June 17th, Chad Burns. Cece, 21 years old. Lori Jane, and Tony and Tim Thompson, TNT. Twins, 1982. Hi, twins.
June 18th, Jeff Heyman.
June 19th, Nod Notwin.
June 20th, Dakota. It was his second birthday.
Ooh, the twos. June 21st, our son Mark, Steve Wynyard, and Alban.
June 22nd, Laura Nat.
And 23rd, Roseanne Paul.
24th, Beverly Harward.
June 25th, Erica Chase and Luann Mandronico.
June 26th, Sylvia Miller and Linda Egan.
June 27th, Natasha Peters and Rodney Carroll.
June 28th, Lisa Schmigel.
And the 29th, Rob Burns and Sweet Quality.
Quilly. I think it's Quilly.
Oops, I'm sorry,
Quilly.
Sweet Quilly.
Happy birthday.
all.
And we've got a birthday song for you. Okay. Well, thank you for the birthday.
And
Also anniversaries.
This month,
I've got one to add when we get to it. Mm-hmm.
June 1st, David and Tori Stambaugh, 7 years.
June 8th, Ray. Oh, sorry. June 7th, Matt and Linda Kiefer.
Yes. June 8th, Ray and Gwen.
I think it's Gwen.
Gwen, 51 years.
Congratulations.
Wow.
June 13th, Vern and Shauna, 10 years.
Oh, that's nice. June 25th, Wild Wall and Patty.
And we want to add Jesse Gonzalez and his wife. They were married the same day as Wild Wall and Patty. Same day, June 25th. That's today. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
And we've got a new anniversary song. And there you go. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, we've got some new ones that have joined us. Let's see. Debbie Moore. Hi, Debbie. Happy birthday to June babies. And illegal immigrant. Hola, Lance. Me remember you. And let's see. Jay said Gail White wrote a book about JW, the expert witness. Yes, we have that book. It's very good. It was her experience of waking up in the Jehovah's Witness and leaving. It's a good one to get. It's called The Expert Witness. Okay. Shaq. Hello, Shaq.
Hi, Shaq.
He's probably still at work, right, Shaq? And let's see. I think we mentioned everyone else. If we forgot you, oh, Susan Gillian. Hi, Dallas and Jane Spitfire. So we have quite a little family here. A lot of these repeats come on every week, and we really appreciate you coming back. A lot of these are on Ruby's show on Tuesday night, and her channel is growing, and she did a nice job last night.
Oh,
It was
they had
very
active program last night. Really,
It went till 1 in the morning,
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time. It
There's-
started at 9 till 1.
yeah, a lot going on, and a lot of interest in not only politics but history.
Mm-hmm.
And the history gets complicated, especially if you don't follow it closely. It's easy to ignore it because it gets so complicated. It's up to you, however much you want to.
So we've got upcoming events. These are our meetups. Shauna, are you able to click on Still Alive in 2025? Because it's getting closer, and it's August 1st through August 3rd. Here we go. This is Rick Fearon's gigantic meetup, as we call it. Still Alive in 2025. We'll be there, and Barbara Anderson, Gary Alt, a whole lot of people. Can't even remember everyone that's coming. Stephanie Lynn Carson's supposed to be there, and Romy. It's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Tewksbury, Massachusetts. It's not too far from Boston, and it is free. The convention is free, but you have to get your rooms and pay for your food. A convention is scheduled for former Jehovah's Witnesses and opposers on August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 2025. The theme of the convention is Still Alive in 2025. This long wait is being welcomed by former Jehovah's Witnesses and opposers from all over the world. This milestone event will be one of the most significant experiences of your life. You will meet hundreds of people who have been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower. We will feel like a true family, all sharing the same experiences and now expressing our freedom. For many, it will seem like a giant therapy session that can bring about much needed healing.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people are feeling some anxiety over it, and it's understandable because it represents something that many people had some very powerful reactions to. But we have to look at it as a success over the massive trouble that it put into people's lives. It's an opportunity to show each other and to show the world as well, because there are people who are interested in basically making a movie out of the Watchtower experience, the Watchtower negative experience that's been perpetrated on people around the world. And if you think about it, every householder that was visited by these witnesses, by us, by them, whoever, by you, is really a part of it, because they were exposed. They were exposed to their propaganda, to their lies, to their undue influence, and to everything negative. They were exposed. People were exposed to it. It's something that the world needs to see, because otherwise they're in the dark. They've been kept in the dark, and a massive fraud has been perpetrated on the public. It needs to be straightened out, and this is what's taking place.
I like the way Rick wrote this. He said, we kick off the proceedings on Friday, August 1st at the bright hour of 9 o'clock with live musical interlude, 9:30 with a greet and meet session. I like the way he says, this will be more than just an icebreaker. It's a chance to forge connections and revel in the diverse tapestry of experiences that unite us. And any meetups that we've gone to, that we've put together, That's exactly what's happened.
Wow.
We make connections that we will have forever in this, as long as we live. Let's put it that way. Anyway, yeah, there's many. You can go on the website and read all the different things that are going to be going on. But like I said, some people are going to be triggered because they think of convention. They think of the typical Jehovah's Witness convention. You walk in, everybody has to take their seats, everybody has to be quiet. The chairman gets up there. Well, Rick's going to get up there, but you know Rick, how he's going to be laughing and telling jokes and and anyway,
Will,
go ahead.
will it trigger memories that we had? Yeah, it will. How could it not? How could it not? But just be open. Be open to experience something new and different.
It's going to make new memories.
Yeah.
Different memories.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about going, you can still get tickets. You write to Rick at jwworldnews@gmail.com. Everything is in on the website here. Just go to our website, XJW Friends. Shauna has done a great job starting this website, and David Stambaugh, he's the one that updates it for us constantly. There's another meetup in Las Vegas on September 26th and 27th in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, ex-Jehovah's Witness meetup. So that's going to be a 2-day one in September. So if you're in the Las Vegas area, check that out. The details are on the website. Okay, in the green box, you see, please help Vern heal. We've got a request for everyone that can. If you click on that, as many of you know, Vern has been sick and he's taking a break on YouTube. I'm just waiting for Shauna to click on that. Please help Vern heal. Okay, so there's a GoFundMe, and it says he has to have Resum treatment, and it's very expensive, and their insurance does not cover it. Canada's insurance does not cover it. Okay, here we go. Vern has been quietly battling a painful medical condition. He needs Resum therapy to treat his BPH, but he can't afford it on his own. We're raising funds to cover the cost of the procedure. Every dollar goes towards helping get the relief he needs. Please consider donating or sharing. Let's show Vern he's not alone. Thank you so much. And there's a GoFundMe. If you go to the link, so far we've raised $1,041, but the goal is $5,500 for this treatment that he needs. So if you just go to share or donate now, it'll explain to you. If you have trouble with GoFundMe, you can get in touch with us and we'll help you or figure out an alternate way to do it, because some people don't use credit cards or they don't want to put their information online, which, we can understand that.
Let us know.
So yeah, please help Vern to get the money he needs to get the treatment. Thank you. Okay, we've got some other links you can check out. We've got some YouTube videos. There's a lot on that XJW Friends. And if you go to page 2 under Friends, it's not just friends, but it's therapists and life coaches. And each one has a picture there. You can go on their picture and then click on it. It'll tell you their background, their credentials. And these were all Jehovah's Witnesses. Now they are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses or former Jehovah's Witnesses. They are no longer Jehovah's Witnesses, but they know what it's like to be shunned, to deal with alcohol abuse, to go through cancer. things that we go through on a daily basis. So check that out.
And you won't have to explain what it means to be a witness.
Yeah.
And in many cases, to a regular therapist or psychologist, psychiatrist, they won't understand it as you do. So they're going to have to be educated. In many cases, they pick up on it, and it's good. It's helpful to do that. But the folks that we have here, they know what it means. So that makes it that much easier to connect with them and for them to understand you.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good being understood.
Just a question that Sten had. What % is taken for admin? Okay, so if you use the GoFundMe, they do take a certain percentage, but there's a sliding scale. I mean, you don't have to give anything, and you can go like 1%. So just be careful of that sliding scale, because they started us at 17%, and we go, whoa, we don't want to give all the money to GoFundMe. Yes, they need some money, but we want most of the money to go to Burn. So use that little sliding scale, and you can do as little as you want for the admin cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cash App. I don't think they take. No, they don't, Ruby. What some have done is they've given us Cash App, and then we donated it to Burn. So if you're more comfortable doing that, we can go that way. But like Shauna said, we can't use it in Canada, but we can. So if you want to go to our Cash App, I think it's just, it's real easy. Let me find it first. Okay, so Cash App, and then we'll send you a receipt that we received it.
We transfer everything over
Yeah, every
to
bit of it.
Shauna and Vern.
So if you want to use our Cash App, you use the $, and then my first name, Fran, F-R-A-N, and our last name, Guerino, G-U-E-R-I-N-O. I don't know if you want to put that in the chat, Ruby or Shauna, or put it up on the screen. But you're more than welcome to use our Cash App. They don't charge us anything for that. And then we will transfer the money right over to Burn. It's $ Fran Guerino. And Shauna said we're going to try and sell our trailer too. So yes, they can use the money. There's money that's needed when you're sick, and anyone that's had medical bills, you know that it adds up quickly. So we don't want them worrying about that when they just need, when Vern just needs to heal. Thank you, Shauna. Yep, she put it in the chat.
Let us know how we can help.
Yep. Hi, Nadine. Nadine is here. Okay. All right. Any questions? Just ask them in the chat, and we'll see if we can answer them. Illegal immigrants said about meetups, maybe there'll be dancing. Yes, Rick said there's a great band that he's hired, and they're going to have dancing on Saturday night. They're going to have a talent show, all kinds of things. It's not going to be your JW convention.
No, and again,
it's for sure.
There's no charge.
No.
Number one.
Not for the
They're
convention.
not looking for donations.
No.
And a lot of the expense is being borne by Rick.
Yes.
He's funding this, and it's not for his benefit at all.
It's for our benefit. Matter of fact, way back in 2023, when we were with Rick in Washington, D.C. at the protest, we were all there, and then Rick invited whoever wanted to come up to his hotel room, and we went up there with several others. And he was just so impressed with how many people showed up at the protest, about 200.
Yeah.
But the thing that impressed him the most was the bond that people made. We were complete strangers. Now, of course, Wally was there, and Justin from XJW Diaries, and, a lot of people that we knew from watching them on the video, but never met them in person. There were people from the UK, from Germany.
Yeah, it was really
and so
special.
that bond, that really impressed Rick, and he said, at that point, he said, I want to have a convention, an XJW convention. And he started planning, that was over 2 years ago, he started planning for this. So it's not a, you know, what do you call it? You know, like a last minute thing, or
No,
it's
a
been
lot of thoughts
a
going
lot
into
of
this.
thought. And he's trying to think of everything that, you know, if there's a problem with this or a problem with that, he's trying to think of everything. But if you have any questions about it, let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah.
What were we going to say? I'm sorry.
And there's a concern for, you know, the emotional needs of the people that are there. That's the purpose of this. This is a huge defeat for Watchtower. And it's a huge win for people, you, me, ones that are coming out. It's a success. It's a huge success for people. And then nothing heals like success. Nothing feels like it. And this is being provided. And you're part of it. You're part of it. You're needed for it, actually. You're needed for it. We're needed for it.
And obviously not everyone can go. So Rick is going to be live streaming it. So you'll be able to watch it on YouTube, and you'll be able to be a part of it. So we truly appreciate what Rick is doing. And like it said, it's the first ever. And, you know, with these different programs, like Ruby's program and our program, anyone that does lives, and they have the audience participation, like in the live chat or the live stream. And a little bit later, we'll have the StreamYard, where you can go on and come on the program. But if there's nothing else, let me see. We wanted to make a couple announcements. Stephanie Lynn Carson is in the hospital. She had an emergency surgery, but she's doing okay. And Dinah lost, her name is Lisa. Lisa's mother passed away a couple weeks ago, I believe it is now, in Alabama. So if you want to send a card to either of them, I've got their addresses. Just get in touch with us, and we'll be glad to give you Stephanie's address and Dinah lost. Her real name is Lisa. Lisa is going to be at the Tewksbury too, also, and along with Stephanie's planning on being there by then, so you'll get to meet them in person. All right, I think that was it. Did you want to go into the video?
Let's go right into the video. You might have seen a little bit of this before, but it helps reinforce what's going on, what's been going on for decades, and helps answer some questions, and it reinforces things that we have to be aware of and to take care of.
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation. The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation. What matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise on earth, to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and to put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot.
In a world flooded with paper promises, gold has been a consistent truth. It's held its value for thousands of years, and today, with everything shifting, the demand for gold is climbing fast. The BRICS nations are now signaling plans for a basket of gold-backed currencies, challenging the dominance of fiat money worldwide. That's why I think Opawika Explorations is a company that should be on your radar. They're exploring for high-grade gold in Quebec's legendary Abitibi gold belt, one of the most productive gold regions on Earth. Their properties are surrounded by some of the biggest gold mines in Canada, and right now they're launching a tremendous new exploration program, a major step in unlocking their potential. Listen, no one can predict the future, but these are the kinds of projects that have built real wealth when the timing aligned. If you're someone who believes in the timeless value of gold and sees where the monetary system is heading, Opawika, trading on the OTC market under ticker OPWEF, at just 11 cents per share, is worth looking into. You can learn more at the link down below. Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Wednesday, June 18th, 2025, out of the Matrix into Prime Reality. Thank you for joining us on X, Rumble, and YouTube. Thank you for being in the live chat. Our wonderful moderator, Ronnie, my beautiful, wise wife, Christine, as inspired in the live chat. And everyone else, thank you so much for being here. Well, you heard the guy. If you watched the intro, Yuri Bezmenov, ideological subversion is how you destabilize a nation. Yes. And he laid it out in 1984 on G. Edward Griffin. A great interview. And you know, once again, this is 40 some years ago, 41 years ago. And we would think that this is today, you know, incredibly accurate. Christine and I discussed this earlier this morning. We are living, energetically speaking, and with everything that's happening, through the roughest decade. Most definitely for the United States, the roughest decade. This is, you know, other nations had wars and they had kinetic wars, but the kind of warfare in this decade in this nation is insane. It's in other nations too, but you know, I can really speak to where I am. And having had the benefit of being in the truth and research sphere and freedom sphere for decades now, and I don't say this as something, you know, to put me on a pedestal, but here are things that I can see because of having read all those hundreds and thousands of books and whatnot. The bigger picture. Um, this is why so many folks that have a platform today, they have a platform on purpose, and we'll get into that. A platform on X or platform on other on other sites.
We got time.
These relatively uneducated voices, I'm sorry to say it this way, because they don't have the big picture. They were woken up during the COVID nightmare, the bullshit, and they were woken up and they stumbled into one sphere of this truth exploration project, and they thought that's it, and that's what they're riding on. It's complete BS. It's you know, it's crap, but they don't know, because frankly, usually this takes years and decades to figure out the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that we are in this phase, and they come in waves. The stages that Yuri Bezmenov talks about here, they come in phases, and we're in the stage of complete demoralization. This is the point, is to get you so worn out, to get you so burnt out, to get you so mentally, spiritually depleted that that you basically don't have anything left to do or left to say. And this is a strategy. If you read the documents that have come out over the years and decades by various institutions, you know, they put it out there. If you read the irregular warfare documents, if you read the PSYOP documents that the Army puts out, if you read, just, I'm talking about documents that are publicly available, and you extract the methods, you'll find something like this here. And this is their strategy. This is what they're doing. Okay, here we go. So this is what they're doing with the mainstream, okay? Mainstream society. 330 or 320, however many million people there are in America, are being subjected to this PSYOP every single day. Destabilize society with chaos and contradiction, not just in America, it's happening everywhere.
But this power nap.
Hey, Joe and Fran, are you there?
It's a very well known reputable charger, it works well, and this is what we put in a lot of the capital.
Okay, one sec. I see Joe and Fran are actually just making their way back.
Something like the power nap.
We're having some technical issues, I believe.
Anyways, we haven't had any failures yet.
They're just having an issue reconnecting their video, so we'll just give them a moment here.
But we do need the generator from time to time.
Chaos and contradiction. Okay, where have we seen this? Again, 2020. Remember, 2020, chaos, pure chaos. People were completely, lost in all of the information that was coming. Oh my God. Contradiction. This was the perfect example. Fauci came out every Friday. Remember, Fauci came out. This little, evil, horrific, psychopathic moron came out every Friday. And I didn't mean to.
Well, we're,
Okay.
I think we're back.
Okay. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties.
Technology. Technology. Yeah.
So, what did you think?
It's an old story, but it's the one that's rolling now. We can ignore it, but you can't ignore it. He spoke about a subversion that's been done. This is for 50 years. And the other, whatever governments and entities are interested in this, they're pleased. They're quite pleased that it's working as well as it is because of how either disillusioned or discouraged that people are. In other words, they've lost either heart or they're worried or anxious. And that was their goal. That was their goal. Because they know it has a negative effect on people. And it leaves them in a position where they're begging for a solution, where they're looking for answers, where they're anxious for a solution. Government likes that. The government likes it when people are anxious for a solution, because then they can come in and they can commandeer the solution without our help, really. See, by rights, they're supposed to seek our approval, our acceptance of it. And the way they get acceptance is by pressuring people socially, pressuring people economically, pressuring people politically, with security interests, and the income that people have for their very life, for their own personal economy, and that's what's going on now. They knew this would, what the governments are doing would have this effect, destabilizing. Now, so which government is doing this? All governments are doing this. Your government's doing this. Our government, whoever's government, whatever government is doing this. And if you listen to the news, and if I listen to the news and the media, we're the ones that are being put in that position. We are. So the question becomes, what exactly are they trying to do? What are they looking for from you, from me? And you might just recall that there is this famous little scripture that mentions that, and I don't know where it's from, I don't care where it's from, but it talks about how that all the time of our experience that will be dominated. Man will be dominated. Man will dominate man to his injury. Well, that's exactly what we've been seeing. There are those men, governments, men, that are dominating who? Well, us, the ones that are listening to the media. It's domination. So you have to ask yourself, what exactly do they want me to do? That's a good question. What do they want from me? Well, the question too is, well, what are they promising me? Notice how Yuri said that they'll promise great things. Promise, promise, promise,
Does that sound familiar?
promise. I mean, we know that from that organization, Watchtower. Oh, wonderful, wonderful promises. And last I checked too, there are other governments that promise wonderful things too. You know, politicians are wonderful for promising this and promising that, promising this. Vote for me, I promise. And of course, why not? Why not? We want those promises. And somehow that doesn't come about. Somehow what comes about is some other kind of situation. And you wonder, how did we get to be more dominated like this? We don't feel like we're in any kind of control. We feel like we're being controlled. And it's to our injury. Well, what do we do about it? I know what a lot of people do about it. They take the role. They take the role of the willing subject. Well, how do they do that? Well, they're willing. Most people are willing to take a side. I'll take the side. I think I'll take a side that is going to be the winner, because then I'll do better.
Ruby has a
As a winner.
question. Can a slave vote or a free man? Can slaves vote? You mean like slaves back in the day when there were slaves?
No, slaves.
No.
No. Slaves could never vote.
No.
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 So what happened? So they came into a situation where they could vote. Whoa, everything's going to be great now. Because I'm going to vote. And my vote's going to count. Yeah, it's going to count for something, I guess. What's changed? So what has changed? Some things, I guess, have changed. But for some reason, there's massive, massive dissatisfaction. Massive dissatisfaction.
Annie was on first and then a pasta dude.
Well, we'd like to hear from both. Annie?
Hi, Joe Fran.
Hello.
Hello, Annie.
On the subject of voting, I reminded of what Mark Twain once said.
Annie,
voting-
can you speak more? Can you speak louder into your microphone? You're kind of faint.
Okay. I'm reminded of what Mark Twain once said, that if voting counted, we wouldn't be allowed to do it. In my opinion, I think the voting process is pretty much a delusion,
Yeah.
leading people to think that they have a voice when, just again, in my opinion, I believe that most public officials are selected and not elected.
Mhm.
And I have seen for some time now that this country has been under attack from within. When this country goes into another country to destabilize it, which they have done in many countries,
Mhm.
they do it militaristically. And this country, their method is different because it's their quote unquote own homeland. And so for them to attack militaristically would be viewed by the world as brutal. And so they have found other ways. And so the PSYOPs that this man was talking about is one of the ways in which they operate.
Yeah.
And it is very clever. And he's right. It takes a long time. My lifetime, of course, I didn't always see it. But my guess is I think probably since Kennedy, maybe even before, but at least since Kennedy, things really changed. And I think that it really kicked in as far as the destabilizing of the country. I mean, this country was founded on that. The Europeans came into this country. They made friends with the Indians to learn how to survive in this new land. And once they learned it, they attacked them and
Yeah.
tried to wipe them out.
Yeah.
So it's not a new tactic, but
Domination. Domination. They
Yeah.
wanted to dominate.
And they wanted them basically gone. If they could have taken all the Indians away, that would have been great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it boils down to a land grab.
Yes.
The ones in power feel that the kings, I guess, want more land. They want more land and more people, I guess. I guess they feel, maybe they feel that, well, we can't survive as a nation unless we have our supply of people and resources continues to grow. And so they've got this job to grow their resources and population. And they'll do anything they can to make it grow, even if it means dominating other peoples. So they're all in this competition of seeing who can be the best dominator, I guess, and where the resources, where the population that they use for their numbers. We're the ones that are supposed to grow and be their population, and yet we're subject to domination as well. And it was described as far as this thing about spies. See, a spy isn't what you think it is. Spies initially for this country were people that came in from another country and entered the education system. And they started teaching, it said, the soft heads of children. In other words, they were open, the kids were open and learning. They're soft heads, easy to penetrate with socialistic, communistic, Marxist type of teachings. Well, it worked. It worked. So now, I mean, there's a very active political interest in this country for socialism. And who's pushing it? It's the people of this country. In other words, they're doing it to themselves now. They've accepted it as children, and now they're doing it toward each other. And
That's why the Constitution is no longer read.
Yeah.
Children are not taught it. I saw a man at the store who said the Constitution does not need to be rewritten. It needs to be reread. And I told him I liked his shirt. And so my mom, because she died and she was almost 100. But I remember she could actually recite part of the Constitution.
Wow.
And maybe even the Bill of Rights. It was certainly the Constitution. She used to recite it. And we were in school and we weren't even learning it. It wasn't being taught to us. But I remember her saying she didn't understand why they weren't teaching the Constitution anymore, because that's the rights of the country. Then you have a Bill of Rights and other documents that are very important. But they don't want people to know what their rights are. So if you don't teach it to the children.
I think we have to think in terms of temporary. In other words, that system was instituted because the kings of Europe, England, I guess particularly, were interested in inhabiting this country. It wasn't a country, but the New World, they called it, the New World. And so they had some people establish a government. They were, I guess you could call the founding fathers the governing body. I guess you could call them. You really could. Because
I guess so.
They came up with the notion of the Constitution. And this was really groundbreaking type of governance. It never really happened before. So this was the new world of freedom. Well, even as it was beginning, it was planned on undoing it. In other words, it was temporary. It was just designed to be temporary, an experiment, because the kings of the world had further down the road plans for this land. But they don't tell people that. See, their plans are very, very far-reaching.
And Joe, what is that statement based on? I'm not contradicting you. I'm just saying, asking you, what is that based on?
The Masons, the founding fathers were Masonic. They were Freemasons.
Right. Yeah.
And the Freemasons and whoever else is associated with them were like, they were the kings of the earth. It was like a club that did things for the richest families in the world.
Right.
And they did it by manipulating governments.
Mhm.
And so that's not something that you learned or that I learned. They didn't tell us, oh, by the way, George Washington was a Freemason. And, oh, what does that mean? Oh, never mind. You know, they don't want you to know
No,
that.
they didn't teach us
because they just wanted us to know something that we liked. We liked the sound of it. And so now we're going to run with it and go with it. But they don't tell you the next step. And slow but sure, we find out that there is a next step. And that's what Yuri was talking about, that they really want to change everything that we're used to. Well, they don't care whether or not we're used to it or not. They don't care. They literally don't care how we feel. What they care about is what they want for their earth. See, it's their earth because they own it. We don't own it. You know that song says, "This land is your land, this land is my
Right.
land."
Yeah. Right.
Oh, isn't it a wonderful
Hello,
song?
Guthrie.
It's the biggest load of BS in the world. It's just not true. It's
I
not.
like the song. I like the song, but yeah, you're right. It's
It's the
BS.
biggest load of BS.
Can we bring a pasta dude on?
Yeah.
Hey, a pasta dude. Welcome.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear
Yes,
you
we
now.
can hear you now.
Beautiful. Anyway, yeah, I was enjoying that. You guys are just right in tune where I would stand on a lot of this stuff. Was George Carlin who said it's a big club and you're not in it.
That's the truth.
And there's so many little signals like that. There's tons of things to come to grips with. I was watching a report today. Well, first of all, psyops are going on all the time. A few years ago, I don't know if it was a Watchtower Wake had a cover, secret societies. They're so
Yeah.
fascinating.
I remember.
Yeah.
They got so, the irony of the stuff they put out when we all know better about them. Secret societies. So everybody goes, well, I guess the secret society, a bunch of rich guys, they all just get together and we don't have to pay attention to their ideas. They're just hobnobbing. No, they're scheming on how to control you, the herd. And they're, you're on a tax farm. There's hundreds of them all over the world, and they're all being controlled, manipulated. And if they have to use warlords or whatever to use it, manipulate you through fear. I told the story about years ago when I worked on the weekends. There was this radio program on AM, and it had a little piece with Lindsey Williams, a minister. And he talked about his friend who was part of the elite. And I might have brought this out before, where one of the things he said was they've decided to lower oil, which was like, how can that happen? I mean, we don't have enough oil, which is another lie, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I could have shorted oil and made millions, by the way. But I did watch it, and I brought it out, and I shared some things, even at the Kingdom. I was saying, oil is going to go down. Watch out for it. And it happened, and to my surprise, I mean, the guy was telling the truth. But the other thing he said was, they're going to demoralize America. And I can't tell you, can anybody argue with that? Out of the video, the demoralization is ongoing. And so, and another big tool is people watch television news and they think they're getting some truths or something. It's like, it's so unbelievably manipulated and devoid of substantive facts. So another thing, and we got all kinds of subject matter to roll over this, but I'll just wrap it with this one. I have said this, and I believe this 100%. Through the annals of history, there is, and think about all the soldiers, that great majority of them, 20 to 30 years old, sometimes 18 with a draft. No soldier has ever put his life on the line in the battlefield for the actual reasons that he's out there. What he
right.
thinks and what's true are two different things.
That's right.
And
That's right.
and it's just, if you just look at that part of history and well, you know, they don't care about and the other thing about blood and populations and war, I mean, they're driven by the defense industry. They've got to get a new set of bombs. The old ones are got to be used up on some kind of more primitive war. This is going on constantly in Washington. It's run by lobbyists, and they're all part of these clubs,
Yeah.
and they're all getting rich, and they could care less.
You know,
So
posited out in California, there's a place called Bohemian Grove.
yes,
You
indeed.
familiar?
I used to hang out. I know. I lived in the area.
Bohemian Grove, and the theme, and it's a place designed to welcome all the leaders of the world, anyone who would be anyone, be it world leaders, be it big stars, movers and shakers. If they're going to be accepted into the machine so as to become a huge worldwide success, they have to go through this ritual. And the ritual, the theme of the ritual is it's freedom from care. In other words, the attitude they have to take is, I don't care. I don't
The
care.
sacrifice of care. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They have to perform acts of, how do I want to say this? Acts of deviant sex on each other and other things and whatever, so that every one of them is guilty of the same thing.
Yeah.
So that they can't blow the whistle on each other without implicating themselves.
Right.
That's how they get the control of them, so that they know they're safe. They won't. I won't blow the whistle on you, and you won't blow it on me. And they're put in a position where they march people, children, boys, into battle, knowing they're going to die. They don't have to. We don't have to do this way, but we're gonna. And they don't care. I don't care. People are going to die. I don't care.
Well,
I
Joe,
don't care.
in Africa, they take these little these war lords and stuff, and they take 10-year-old kids and they take and they let them bond with a puppy or a kitten or something, and then they make them kill the puppy or the kitten. So here, this is a supreme. This world is run by a supreme mafia, and when you're in the mafia, you have power as you move up, but you are never safe, because when you get to the top, somebody else wants to be you. Now,
That's right.
in Washington, everywhere, like you were saying, everybody is blackmailable. They
Yeah.
make sure that if you have power, they can control you.
That's
It's
it.
as evil as it gets. It's very disturbing. I mean, it's not comforting. People come to grips with this stuff, but you know, I guess it's Dane Wigington telling everybody about the problems with what they're doing to the atmosphere with the aerosol spraying. But he also says this, as grim as that story is, a healthy intellect is not afraid of facing difficult situations.
Yeah, that's right.
And everybody on this channel knows that's part of their experience by getting out of the watchtower. It wasn't fun to figure out. It wasn't pleasant to come to terms with that. But take it to another level. The world is just, you know, I mean, let's say there's a few pieces of truth from the watchtower. One of them I don't have a problem with, and maybe some people disagree, but that the devil rules the world. Some form of energy that's
Yeah.
very dark.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Whatever
running
entity
things.
it is, they don't love us.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't love us. They just don't love us.
I'll tell you one more thing about that. I know a guy, he believes in Q. If anybody knows what Q is, I think Jimmy Bell might even be in that thing. And so he talks about he actually believes that Q himself, this person in particular, says Q himself is an extraterrestrial, it's an actual being, right? And so he discusses how everything's going to work out, and they're going to intervene, and they're going to get rid of all the satanic things and everything else. And I squared him up for, I don't buy it, but you know, I listen to everybody. Why, there's no harm. And I squared him up and I said, now let me get this straight. These extraterrestrials are going to go to these extreme ends to overcome the evil that's running things because they love us. And he just, his eyes went blank, man. I said, come on. I mean, I think we got to love each other first.
Right. That's right. You know, I would make a parallel, just as you mentioned, we got free from this watchtower cult that promised things, but yet dominated.
Oh, yeah.
Now, humans, the reason why we got involved, because frankly, humans are cult oriented.
Yes.
We just are. If I don't have a culture, I'm going to feel disconnected from the rest of people. I need to be part of a culture so I can have a story. Otherwise, someone's going to ask, "Who are you, Joe?" And I'll say, "Well, I don't know. I really don't know who I am. I don't have any story until I incorporate one into my life." And so people are looking for stories to incorporate into their life, to have a life. They're looking for a life. It's humans. Animals, I don't think, have to do that. Humans are inclined to do that. So people leave one cult, and guess what? They're probably going to seek another in some way. In some way.
So what you just described is the setup for inclination to being manipulated.
Yeah.
And there's a great video thread. If anybody goes to YouTube, I don't know the exact title, but if they punch in the words, the danger of toxic stupidity. And the point I want to make about that is stupidity isn't a lack of intellect. No. It's not. It doesn't mean you're brainless. But think about the people that are so capable in the Watchtower. What is the stupidity? And it's just being manipulated where you compromise because you don't want to get your head out of the sand.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I have to say this and think about this, anyone and everyone. The one thing I truly believe, this is so critical now, that the Watchtower attempted to ingrain in us was neutrality.
Yeah.
Now, on a scale of, I can't remember who it is, but there's a scale of spiritual awareness, spiritual growth, spiritual ascension. Neutrality is very high.
Wasn't that Joseph Campbell?
Campbell's like, neutrality is, in other words, someone describes an issue that's going on and people are divided on it. And basically they ask you, so where do you stand on that? What do you say? What do you say? Where do you stand? Are you on our side? Are you on that side? Which side are you going to be on? And that's exactly what these entities, governments seek to do, is to get people to take a stand in their favor. And then they got you. So in other words, they want to knock you off your neutrality. Because if you're neutral, you're not controllable. So once they've got you on a side, for example, like the two-party system in this country, you got two choices. Which one's it going to be? One or the other? Come on, choose. Hurry up, choose. Oh, you're not. You got. Oh, you're on third. Okay. I'm this. And what are you going to do? You're going to fight for it. And what are you going to do? And you're going to separate your family. You're going to separate from someone else. And they're going to separate from all because you took sides. Well, they wanted you to take sides. You take sides,
That's it.
and then you're going to work for them, and you're going to destabilize your strength, your unit. They know that. They want people to destabilize the power that they possess as a family.
Well, they look down from their ivory towers, and the people that are struggling against one another don't realize how they were pitted against one another. That is one of the doctrines, by the way, of the Jesuit order when they were in South America disturbing all those governments down there.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Masons are controlled. Just you can deep dive it and you'll find it's true.
Yeah.
Although there's much dispute, they are controlled. They were developed by the Jesuit order. The Jesuits are everywhere. The Vatican is behind a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And they say all roads lead to Rome. It's still true.
See, I think we're the whoever want empire back, Roman Empire.
Yeah.
But I think they just want to
One world
return
government.
to empire, and they prefer slaves.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's all mapped out. Albert Pike,
yeah.
you know, a very high-ranking Mason and a Satanist, or known Satanist, he wrote it all out, including 2 great wars and a final third one that I think they're chugging ahead for right now.
So the
end result is...
So the question becomes, so what side do you want to be on? You know? And that's, you just, come on, take a side. You got to take a side.
Yeah, exactly. Love and freedom.
It's all divide
Humanity.
and conquer.
Yeah. And the thing is you contemplate, maybe you, when you see through this, you go, you know, if I had a platform, I could give people the facts and they would just have to come over and understand it. And let me just say this, even if you did and you could, and there was a grassroots flush, who's going to be in charge?
That's right.
Because humans, that's another part of the human experience. We, as cult tendencies, we need to realize the need for organization. If you're out in the pioneer wagon train, you had to have somebody lead. You had to have something in charge. And so this is such a thing where you could look back and think about this whole vision of Christ Jesus and who he should be is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Put somebody righteous with power in charge.
Right.
I want that. So, but the problem is, I mean, it's pretty laid back for as much crap that's been going on for millenniums here.
So the question becomes, so with all this swirling around us and the fact that there's these power struggles taking place, they want a piece of me, or they want all of me and all of you, because we're like batteries that they derive the power from.
Yeah.
And then what? Well, they're just going to use us. No, well, but yet they promised us. See, they promise this, promise that.
Well, you know, they have a birth certificate and a death certificate, and in between, your life is on the stock market in terms of its value for whichever particular tax farm you're putting your energy for. So we literally are just currency to them, you know.
So is it possible for us to live as a free person and not to put ourselves in a slave situation? Because all of this, it's like offering us the life of a slave without saying that. Can we live without accepting that role?
Well, the greatest degree possible, I do. I can't imagine somebody is in real trouble if they try to enforce a mandated poison medical remedy to me.
Right.
I mean, I'm just not happening. I mean, it's just almost any means necessary. I mean, I consider that attempted murder. So, and what do? I mean, you know, that's the other thing they create. Like you put soldiers on a battlefield, they don't even care anymore why they're there. It's they got to protect their buddy and they got a system to do it. So the kill or be killed environment is the most dark state of psychology that you can get. So yeah, how do you avoid that? People got to start. I don't know. I think the internet can move fast enough, and now we got the AI looming. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness! You know,
Oh, it's
it's
working.
not never. You talk about a weapon. Oh,
It's hard at work. Well,
I was
again,
just yeah.
but again, so if this is like a game of getting us, and this is where I have to go back to what the society recommended or tried to enforce. They tried to enforce us being neutral. And I was thinking about that and saying, you know, they weren't neutral at all. They weren't neutral at all. But had we been neutral, then we wouldn't have taken a stand on their side. But instead, see, they wanted us firmly on the side of whatever. Well, had we been neutral, we wouldn't have been. And same now, if we recognize things going on around us, and maybe we're forced into taking a stand, but that puts us, frankly, in their control. I think being neutral allows us to retain our freedom.
Okay, and just to show you how it worked with the societies manipulate, were they really neutral when they flooded the
No,
post
they were not
offices in
neutral.
No, they
Russia?
weren't.
No, they were not
They
neutral.
just preached it, but they weren't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's my point. It's a very difficult position to.
See,
But yeah,
the powers don't want us neutral. They want us hot for them. And the media is doing everything to get us to be on their side. They'd love to agitate people to get us to take a side. You know, join the military, join this party, stand up for this. Well, if everyone was neutral, really no one would go to war. But see, people, they couldn't have a government that way. You couldn't have organized society that way. You couldn't have a cultic culture like we do. Humans exist in cults, and until we face that, we're going to keep going through the same problems over and over and over again.
exactly.
Until we individually live our lives as a free person.
And spread a potential mass awakening. It's daunting. I mean, you can't count on it happening in your own lifetime even, but it is the only thing that's going to change it. I'm telling you, mass awakening. And if there's anything people may be forced to awaken to, when they can look up, I'd say 5 out of 10 days in most areas of the world, or in the United States in particular, and see tic-tac-toe aerosol.
Yeah.
If you knew everything about that, it would blow. It blows my mind. But the point is, all you got, everybody's now got their face in a cell phone, and the significance of those sprays is, I think it's going to come in. I mean, this summer is going to be the hottest in history.
Oh boy, let me tell you.
We've been hot here.
Alaska's got a potentially 95, 100 degree temps coming.
That's amazing.
Those
what
people
we
are blowing
heard.
their minds up.
Wow.
Apasta dude, did you say, we don't know if you said this, or Jimmy Bell was wondering, did someone say that I said that Q was an ET? Is that what you heard?
No, Jimmy, relax. I didn't say that. I
Okay.
think that
Clarify it.
all right. What I meant was, to my understanding, based on listening to Jimmy, that he leans into ET, or not ET, Q. I know another person, not Jimmy Bell. There you are, bro. not Jimmy Bell, that believes things I don't think Jimmy Bell even knows about. And this guy says he knows Q. It's amazing, but he's very odd man and somewhat very occulty. But yeah, Jimmy, don't everybody hear me clearly. I don't know nothing about you and an ET.
I was getting ready to say, that's why I jumped on here. I got off my baseball game to come on here and make a clarification because I don't usually come on here on Wednesday nights, especially after doing 4-hour marathons on Tuesday evenings. But someone sent me a message. Someone sent me a message and said that, and I was like, oh, the hell no, that's not, no. Let me go make a clarification here.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the guy who gets on the tells somebody in somebody's ear and it goes down 10 people and comes out. You know, that's one of those glitches, but that could happen.
Well, that's one reason.
That's slower, you know.
Yeah, that's one reason why if something's said about me, I go straight to the source. So that's why I jumped on here because, I don't believe that Q is an ET. And in connection with that person that you mentioned, no, Q is not an ET. And anybody that comes out and says that they know who Q is, I wouldn't believe them at all because none of us know who the Q team is.
Well, all I can do is look at him like he's just a greater form of what I left. But I hang around with him a little bit because we talk about current events and some issues politically that are happening. And I know also his background supports why he would buy into something like that. Because like going into any cult is trauma-based. I mean, that's how you fall into it, unless you're raised in it. I wasn't. And I came right out of a trauma situation. So, I don't agree with him, but you can't argue with this guy. And I don't. I just go, no. I just hit him with some questions and it just stops him.
All right. Well, that's the only reason I jumped on is to make a clarification.
I'm glad you did that, man, because I wouldn't want anybody else thinking that wrong thing. I didn't mean that.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you for the person that let me know this. And I'm going back to my ball game. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
But Jimmy, one simple thing before you leave.
Sure. What?
Okay. Am I wrong, or do you not lean a little into the Q narrative?
Oh, I'm totally into the Q narrative.
Okay,
totally.
Well, and I never had to hear you say that just by listening, because I know from this guy, and he's not accurate. Don't get me wrong, but I know a lot about the Q narrative, and so and it's not crazy. There's a lot of things going on with white hats, etc. I know. Yeah,
I try not to mention it too much. And I try to bring the information out that I've gotten from the Q boards, because whenever I say, oh, this came from the Q post or whatever, I immediately get attacked. I immediately get labeled, and it to me, it's So it drives me crazy because most of the people that talk crap about it don't know anything about it.
Right.
And I've
had.
had
Can't blame them, Jimmy. There's a lot to know about it, and it's scary stuff.
Oh yeah,
So,
I mean, and what people don't understand is they think it was just some random thing, and they don't know exactly what it is. So I'll just set the record straight. Basically, what the Q posts were designed to do were designed to give information out to the public that bypassed the mainstream media, that allowed people to take the information and go do research and dig on it and talk about it between ourselves or whatever and figure out what the heck is this thing talking about. It's like putting a puzzle together. And I know that people say, well, they said this and they said that and it didn't happen. Well, that's where you have to drop the timelines and the dates. I don't do timelines and I don't do dates. I go on information. So, for example, there was a Q post that was put out on June 19th of 2018 or 2019. And it basically said, free Iran, freedom for the people. We stand with the people. The people must rise up in Iran. That was on June 19th, 2018. Now, if you were reading that post back then, you'd be like, well, what the hell does this have to do with anything right now? Well, what happened on June 19th, June 20th of this year? We had the situation in Iran. So that's what we call a delta. We call that what would that be, a 7-year delta? Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that's put out that has come true. And there's a lot more that's going to be happening. And especially with Iran, there were over 96 posts out of 4,400 some that specifically talked about the situation in Iran, the uranium one, their nuclear capabilities, and things like that. So it's only information. And for people to say, oh, well, you're just in a cult.
Jimmy,
okay.
can I ask you, Jimmy,
Sure.
what's the utility of knowing that?
To educate people.
For what purpose?
To get them to understand what's going on so we can fight against it.
Well,
Speak out against it. Any leaders that any of our congressmen or senators or anything that are involved in facilitating corruption, we can get rid of them.
Okay, so it demands people being involved.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Everybody says, "Oh, the Q movement only, makes people trust of white hats or trust a savior." No, that's not what it does. It actually engages people, because for me personally, if it wasn't for the Q post, I would not know half the crap I know. I would have been so lost with what was going on in this world. I would have been freaking out. And every time something happened in the news, I would get, fearful like most people do. I don't worry about anything right now. When those bombs dropped in Iran, didn't faze me one bit because I knew something was going to happen.
So, Jimmy, I know you don't have time now, but
well, we're
Gail
okay.
said, can someone educate me on what Q is?
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have
for
time
another
for
show.
You don't have time.
I could give you the Cliff Note version. Hang on a second.
That's okay.
No, it's very easy. It's very easy. Basically, if you look up what Q clearance is, everybody's got a phone. Go Google what Q clearance is.
Okay.
All right. Q clearance is the highest classified military security clearances that you can get. Okay, that's one thing.
Okay.
All right. So basically what it was there's a group, and we don't know who they are. We have an idea, but nothing concrete. We do know that it's less than 10 people that know the Q post and are posted on the Q boards. 7 military, 3 non-military. That's all we know. We don't know who they are.
Okay.
And so when someone says, oh, well, you're just trusting one leader. No, because we don't even know who the freaking leader is. And so that's why they try to say that it's a cult. The other thing is the whole phrase QAnon. That is bullcrap. That is a mainstream media creation to downplay and try to disparage the Q movement and the Q information. That was a creation of the mainstream because there is no QAnon. There is just Q, and the people that do the digging on the information that is provided are Anons. I'm an Anon.
Okay.
So the QAnon is just a way for the media to try to, it's kind of like Watchtower calling all of us apostates.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
And when you think of mainstream media, think of a CIA agent in every single one of them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so if these people, if these politicians, these people in power, members of, the deep state, if they weren't worried about it, if the mainstream media wasn't worried about it, then why the hell do they keep talking about it? It's like Watchtower. If Watchtower wasn't scared of the apostates and the information that we put out there, Why would they talk about us?
Yep. That's
Why would
true.
they say crap about us?
Well, see, they need us. They need us providing interest. If we don't provide interest, they have no power. So they have to keep us talking. They have to keep us engaged. They have to keep us interested. Otherwise, we'll turn our backs and go do what we want to do.
Yeah,
Hold
and
on, can
every
you-
abuser,
They have
every
no power
abuser,
without us. They have none.
they need a boogeyman, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what? And the boogeyman for Watchtower are the apostates.
Exactly.
The boogeyman for the mainstream media is Q, because and I can put. I mean, maybe I can put it on my Facebook page, but because Facebook's been like, I try to put up links to the X22 report. Facebook won't allow me to put the links up.
Yeah, they block some of my stuff too.
Yeah. So Gail, I can privately send you where you can go look at the Q boards.
Okay.
And like I said, there's over 4,000 posts.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So for anybody to say that they know what they all say, sorry, no, you don't, because you haven't looked at them. You probably haven't. You talk a lot of crap, but you haven't looked at one damn post. Sorry, I'm just being blunt. That's just because that's how I feel. I've been on this stuff for 5 years, and I've seen it. I've seen things happen that I'm like, holy crap, Q called it. So it's just information. That's all it is. It's literally all it is. So, yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Are you walking something? Are you walking a dog or something?
No, I'm just walking back and forth. That's what I do when I'm on the phone.
Walking a dog or something.
That's what I do when I'm on the phone. I'm actually getting ready to go in here and take care of my possums.
Oh, good. How big are they
You got
now?
to show them sometime.
They're cute.
Yeah,
as
bring
anything.
them on.
Yeah,
We'd love to see them.
let me see. I have to go through the house and get them out of the cage and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, when you're
So-
able, if you're
But
able.
maybe I'll do a live on my Facebook and bring them out sometime.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
So, but yeah, that's but that's the reason I wanted to jump on here, because I don't believe Q is an extraterrestrial at all.
I wouldn't believe that either.
If they didn't
Well,
make
I'm
this-
going to play it back to see if I misstated anything, but I just think he heard it wrong.
Well, I just heard it because somebody sent me a message.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Said,
no, I'm cool with that. I understand.
yeah, they said, hey Jimmy, some dude on Joe and Fran's show said that you believe that
You gotta watch out for spies.
Q is ET. people tell me stuff.
I'm sure they do. Gotta watch out for all the spies. Jeez. Well, have a good evening.
All right,
It's not,
well, thank you.
It's not some dude. It's
Good
a
night,
pasta
Jimmy.
dude.
It's a pasta dude. All right.
Show us
Well,
your-
y'all have a good evening. Thank you for giving me a second to
Glad you
explain
come on,
that.
Jimmy. Glad you came.
All
on.
right, Jimmy.
Good
All
night.
right. Y'all have a great evening.
You
You
too,
too.
All right.
Jimmy. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Gail.
Hi.
Boy, you had a great program last night.
Oh, you.
That was rock and roll.
You and
What? Was I a
Ruby
little-
and Jimmy and
That
I
was
felt like
rock
a
and
school
roll.
teacher. I felt like the school teacher last
no,
night.
you had to, because people were talking out of turn, and
And they
no,
were
I'm glad you
talking.
did
Oh,
that.
you know, that Joseph is a very sweet, kind gentleman.
Yes, he is.
And he wasn't going to say anything. And I felt funny, but nobody else was reining this character in. So my mother instincts, teacher instincts, I had to tell
Darn
her to
right.
back
Oh,
Darn
off and
right.
let
But
Joseph
someone
speak.
has to do it.
Beautiful.
Can I address something to Apostle Dude? Apostle Dude, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Sure.
You mentioned something about chemtrails, geoengineering trails.
Yes.
Okay, I want to tell you some good news. I love Governor DeSantis. He just signed an executive order a couple of days ago. He's banning any drone that comes into his state, dropping any chemicals on his state. He's going to fine them. He's going to fine them $1 million. I'm telling you, I'm ready to
Really?
move to Florida. And did
Wow.
you hear
Moved to
today?
Florida.
We have to be very careful in this world. Today in France, there was a festival. It was either yesterday, I think it was last night. They stabbed with they injected They had needles. 14 people went around stabbing 145 people in France at a festival. I'm trying to find out what substance did they use to inject into these poor people that
They
had
were
no clue.
actually infecting people with something.
Yes, they were going around jabbing everybody. I
Did-
don't know exactly
Did
what
they
was
die,
in.
Gail? Did they die?
All I heard was that they arrested 14 people in France at a festival.
Okay.
And
We can Google that.
yeah, someone could do that if they want to.
Jeez. Wow.
Well,
I don't like doing that bear bad news. Sorry.
you know what's coming up with what you just said there? DeSantis, good for him. There's been in the Trump administration a little noise about it, but the guy who knows the most about it is hoping. He has a weekly broadcast. It's on YouTube. You can do Geoengineering Watch. His name's Dane Wigington.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is we need mass awakening. If you listen to his report, and I've been listening for years. I went to see him talk in person in Redding, California in 2017 or 18.
I remember him from Mother Earth News.
Yeah, no, he's a very serious guy. I shook hands with him, and that guy's countenance was, he was serious.
Wow.
But anyway, a lot of the language he uses is very dire. It's like he says, we're through the guardrails. We will not avoid great consequences for what they've done already. It will be turbulent if they stop spraying. They stopped spraying, and all the planes were on the ground after 9/11, and the temperatures raised because there is an element of reflection. But the other part of it is the chemicals trap the heat too, and they also dissipate natural clouds. So we're getting less natural clouds. We get these huge downpours because everything's all perverted. And another thing people don't know about is the ionosphere heaters, such as HARP in the United States and Alaska. And this is a real thing. I'm telling you, they heat. They use a couple other. There's a lot of technology involved, and they are moving storms and creating chaos through the weather. It's called weather warfare, and they used it in Vietnam. I had friends in Vietnam came back. They never had dry socks.
Dude, from what I understand, all this radar that's used for supposedly detecting the weather really is doing what you just said.
Yes,
it's directing. It's directing.
Exactly.
So it's not just finding out what's happening; it's making it happen.
Yeah, it's a deep dive, and it's I always say, if I tell anybody to go to that website or listen to his broadcast, it comes on every Saturday. So it'd be on YouTube by 6 o'clock usually on Saturday. And anybody I tell about that, I say, now if you are faint of heart, don't go there, man, because there's nothing more. He goes into insects are dying, trees are dying. I live in the forest. I've had 50 trees taken out. I have these guys come in here. One of them work for the power company. My trees are near power companies. So for what would cost me $1,500, $2,000, they come in and take these trees down. So I talked to them, and I know for a fact that the fire agencies in my area of, let's just say the PNC, Pacific North Coast, the fire people are saying they don't understand what's going on with trees. And I said, well, did they tell you what causes the trees? They always talk about beetles. No, it's the crap they're spraying. It's into the rain column, and it suffocates the roots of the trees. So you have all these dry, crazy trees, and then the chemicals in the spray are also accelerants. So you get hot temperatures, accelerants on the coatings of the forest floor, and the trees are all sick and dying. And I'm watching it. I mean, I'm living. I can take pictures around here and show people. I mean, so anyway, I'm blathering on a little bit. It's very deep dive, but I'll just leave it at that. If anybody's interested, you gotta muscle up emotionally. You have to muscle up and realize that. And it's just like Jimmy talking about Q. People are too busy surviving. These things are not comfortable things. I'm an older person. I'm retired. and I am also very attentive to what's true. I didn't figure out the religion until I retired. Of course, the internet's there now too, but I'm just saying that it's real and great for DeSantis. There has to be, and these politicians have been presented with documents by the argument that Dane Wigington makes is no joke. I mean, he's not backing down. I mean, he says there's no way out. We have to stop spraying. It's the greatest disaster. And then they talk about EV cars. They tell you about spraying, using stuff to cool your air conditioning, etc. That's nothing. That stuff is nothing compared to what they are doing on purpose to the atmosphere. Don't worry about your cars and your diesel or whatever. That's nothing. It's a pinprick. So there's that. I'll back down now.
Okay.
Nice.
Apostle dude, I
Yo.
heard on TV last year, Bill Gates, and I heard him myself say he wanted to block 1/3 of the sun, and he's doing it on purpose.
That's the truth. That is true.
There was a scientist. She went in front of Congress and proved to them she had videotaped all the chemtrails crossing her yard. She videotaped the whole thing for weeks, and then she presented it to Congress. And you know, a lot. I was talking about chemtrails years ago. Everybody thought I was nuts. Said I was a conspiracy. Yes,
Gail, there's a YouTuber we watch. He's nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses. His channel is Richie from Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. I love him.
Yeah, he started out with the chemtrails. It was his big thing, but then he really expanded into other things too.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard this 2 weeks ago that the chemtrails are not going to stop because some big, huge chemical company owns it, and they're not. I don't know why Bobby Kennedy's. I thought he was going to take care of this problem. He said he was gonna. He campaigned on it, but I don't know what he's doing. But you know who to watch? I get a lot of my information from Off the Grid with Doug and Stacy.
There you go. Me too.
Oh, I love them. They're a couple of preppers. They're in Missouri. I think they live off 90% of their land. They grow their own food. They have their own water. And I get a lot of my information from them. And he was showing videos of the chemtrails and how they were manipulating the weather.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned his video last week, and then he just did one today. And the one today is very interesting for anybody who wants to look into him.
Is that the one with all the people that were dying that had all kinds of new ideas and
yeah?
energy?
Well, that was the one before. I saw that one too. That's also good.
That's kind of scary.
The newest one. Check this out. AIDS is a hoax.
What?
AIDS is a hoax, and I have a book entitled, written by Leonard Horowitz.
Take all this information.
Oh yeah, no, it gets. That's the problem. You have to get yourself built into it. You got to think it's a lie before you're going to lean into anything. Okay, and when you hear stuff. So when I say AIDS is a hoax, how could that be? Well.
Why?
They vaccinated the gays in Baltimore and San Francisco where it broke out. Vaccinated for the Hep B. And guess who's behind it all? Fauci. What more do I need to say?
He did that in New York. He purposely infected.
And Robert Gallo and all that. Yeah, no, so there's a book I have. I have this book. It's 40 years old. It was Leonard Horowitz. Emerging viruses, AIDS, and Ebola. They're lab monsters. This is not happening naturally. It's not some pendulum creature in China. It's just that's not true. It's a lab thing, and they're messing with it as weaponry.
So they purposely infect people with diseases. It's just really sick. It's really a sick world we live in. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's like with the COVID.
The entities that bring all this feed off of our anxiety.
Yeah,
right.
They feed off of our negative energy that we get from this. So the point is, who the hell cares? I don't know how to say it any other way. They're going to do what they're going to do. They are. They always have. They're going to lie. They'll never stop. We'll never get the truth from them. We'll never get the truth from them.
No.
Never.
You're right, Joe. It's true. There is a certain flip point where you're going, well, how much what good is it doing to know? But I'm just saying that if you think you can trust these people,
No,
No.
don't talk to me about anything, because
No.
I'll fire that back in a minute.
no. See, truth is something that we live and offer each other. That's it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it from anyone out there. They're going to give lies. Truth. That's the only place we're ever going to get truth is from your associate.
Jimmy Bell wants
That's it.
to know, Joe, what did you mean by who cares?
Who cares?
You just said, who cares?
Well, the question becomes, what will your care result in? That's just a question. What will your care result in? For some, it results in their depression.
Can
They
I
care
answer
so-
that?
That is
They
true.
care so deeply and they can't do anything about it. Their helplessness,
Or they're taking their lives.
or they're taking their
Yeah,
lives.
Gigi wanted to say something.
I disagree with that. I think each and every one of us, because of all the stuff that's going on in this world, I really believe in Satan and the demons are controlling a lot of all the narrative in the world. People aren't going to like that, but the stage is set. AI is going to be the new demon that's going to hit everybody. It's going to be used for good. And there's going to be bad characters who are going to get their hands on AI because they're almost done in MIT.
It's been going on.
I know, but they're trying to manufacture one that can really imitate a human being. And what's going to happen? They're going to replace a lot of jobs, and people are going to get upset and depressed. And you hit them in their pocket with money because if someone's taken over your job that can do much better than you, this is going to cause a huge problem. It's already
So the
here,
question becomes,
but it's going to get
worse.
worse.
The question becomes, how much of a reaction can we afford to give them? Because the more reaction that we give takes away from us personally.
Well, I believe in being educated. I'm a firm believer. Educate yourself, get smart, be a critical thinker. Don't be a fearmonger. Don't let the governments bamboozle you. I never got vaccinated because I didn't believe. I didn't want that in my body, period. I got a lot of crap from my physicians because I'm seen by a lot because I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, but they won't leave me alone about being vaccinated. But I finally got them off my back. But I'm a critical thinker. I'm not I don't believe in fear mongering. I do a lot of praying to God for strength to get me through each day. But I believe in my higher power for wisdom and strength to keep me. I like to be well informed because the more educated and well informed you are, the more you can beat this system that's out there to destroy Americans and everybody else.
I just think that Joe was saying that we have to be careful how we use our energy, who we give our energy to.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
whatever we do, they're out there. They want that.
Just as an example, they're going to do another shock and awe event soon. I don't know when, but they're going to do a shock and awe. And it's going to, oh my God, people are going to get so jerked out of shape because of, and they know that. And they know that.
You know,
well, you have to be careful because they want that from you.
You know, before 9/11, I was thinking, and this is what I was thinking to myself, we haven't had a shock and awe moment. And then all of a sudden, 9/11 comes. It's like, oh my goodness, that's a shock.
Well,
Jimmy's back.
Fran, now let's think this through just a little bit because there's levels here. For example, Joe turns to you and says, you better look at this website or whatever he was trying to share with you. And you said, I don't want to see it.
Right.
I don't want to know. Joe, you see what I'm saying here?
That was,
There's a benefit to the actual truth. The difference is it gets to a point of it's so dark it's unhealthy. But boy, you'd still be stuck sitting there in the front row raising your hand on Sunday, Joey.
Well, this is where we need to discern to know, do I need to react or do I need to not react? And that's where knowledge comes in. And so some things you need to react to it. Others, no, you do not need to react.
And that's what Gigi was saying, that she wants to take in that knowledge. But the question is, what do you do with that knowledge once you know it? Jimmy?
That's a skill.
Let's hear it, Jim.
Do I have you want me to talk now?
Anytime you want.
All right. So I've heard a lot of people say, well, what good is it to know this stuff about chemtrails or, viruses? All the viruses have patents. That's a fact. Apostle
I just want to pause you just a second. It is a legitimate question. It's what good is it? In other words, there's a detail to the what, not is it or isn't it. It's what is the detail.
The thing is the reason people need to know this stuff is because we've been kept in the dark for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So many things have been hidden from us.
Right.
We have been lied to literally about everything.
Right.
And if we find out the truth about stuff, kind of like we did waking up from Watchtower, we woke up from Watchtower, and then what do we go do? We go and put information out to help wake up other people that are in that organization, correct?
Exactly.
Take it to the next level. Find out the lies that they've been telling us in the
I agree. But I mean, and each person has to determine their ability too.
Sure, that is true.
I mean, we printed out a postcard. Well, I'm not going to go on national television across the
that
world.
is true.
I can't afford that. But each individual obviously has an ability.
That is true. Everybody has different abilities and skills. And so you've got some people out there that have learned the truth about stuff, and they just tell their friends or their families or their coworkers, and they educate them. Folks like me go out and make videos about this stuff to try to reach a wider audience, to try to get folks to understand how much we've been lied to.
No, and we've got to do that. There comes a point when everyone, you realize your limits, your abilities, and that's where you sometimes you can run up against a wall and realize I'm not getting over this one. This wall I'm not going to climb, and that's where it takes the knowledge of your abilities and what's in front of you, because I believe we're puny little creatures in a very powerful environment.
I have to disagree with you, Joe, saying that we're puny little creatures. No, we are powerful beings. We are creators. We create.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
So that just kind of, it's kind of double speak a little bit, in my opinion, to call us puny.
Look, you got to be smart enough to know your limits, because all Trump or anyone else has to do, like Kennedy, say the wrong things, and he gets a few bullets put in him.
I agree with you that we have to know our abilities.
And see, I don't think he was very smart about his.
But to say that we're just puny humans and we can't do anything about stuff.
No, we can. We can do something about it.
Okay.
But we better be really careful. Really careful.
Well, yeah, you got to, it's like any type of war. If you're going into a battle or something, you've got to have a game plan to hopefully assure your survival for that.
We watched the 2 or 3 days of Kennedy's funeral when we were little. That was in 60.
I think we were in 6th grade.
64.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old then. I was 10 years old.
And we also watched the rocket go up to the moon.
Oh, yeah. Or wherever it went.
I ain't even going there tonight.
Or wherever the hell
Jimmy,
it went.
We were there.
No, in other words, this powerful, beloved man. Oh my God, he was worshipped. You can't tell you how much the man was worshipped.
Probably.
Oh yeah, the people love Kennedy.
I don't think so.
Boom.
Well, the mistake that Kennedy made is he went at the deep state head on.
Yeah.
And that's the mistake that he made. Same thing with Lincoln. They went at the deep state, these evil people head on, and that didn't work. And then Reagan tried to do it. And then what happened to Reagan? Well, he got shot. Now, luckily he survived, but after that incident with Reagan, he kind of played ball a little bit. He wasn't ruffling I mean, he did some things, but he didn't ruffle feathers like Kennedy and Lincoln did.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, Trump has gone about it in a different way. He hasn't gone at them head on. I'm not even going to get into that tonight. That's what our show's for. But yeah, so
You know, if you ever watched a cat play with a mouse, it's a game.
yes,
It's a game. And you know, that
100%.
mouse is doing really good until the cat gets the jump on him. And
Right.
so, you know, it's so interesting. It's so interesting. You know?
But
It's so interesting.
I just wanted to jump back on because you know
I'm glad you did.
the reason I did is because we have the capability to get information out to people and to teach
boy.
people things that, hey, we've been lied to. You were lied to about all these diseases. Apostle Dude was right. AIDS, that was a hoax.
They lied about everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
When I first started going down this road of finding the knowledge and truth about stuff, that was the main thing I said to myself. I'm going in and saying, okay, everything that I've been taught is a lie. I'm gonna go and find out what was true.
The bumper sticker reads, and I read this, it was on the back of a car, "Don't lie. The government hates competition."
That's true. That is true.
It's like, if anyone's going to do the lying, we'll do the lying.
Now, the last thing I want to address, Joe, what you said about, you know, there's going to be another shock and awe moment or whatever. You're right. That is going to happen. I said it last night on our show for everybody to get prepared for. There's going to be another scare. There's going to be a scare event. And on our show, Ruby was like, well, wasn't the Butler shooting a scare event? Wasn't the Iran bombs dropping in Iran? Wasn't that a scare event?
Test.
No, those weren't. I mean, for some it could be, but for folks like me that have done the digging and everything, those weren't scare events. Those were just part of the movie.
See, never before in history has the government had the ability to, number one, test the population and then gauge them as to the next thing that they're going to do. So in other words, and that's with Facebook and TikTok. They're just watching this all the time, and they're watching to see what people say, how they feel, and how they react, and then they're going to gauge and measure their action according to that.
You're right. They are doing that.
We're helping them tremendously.
Well, the thing is the powers that have been controlled for so long, they don't have the power that they used to have. I know people might think that they do.
I agree.
But they don't.
I tell you, the greatest joy that I derive from any of this is we're going to watch them eat each other.
Oh yeah, it's happening. I mean, you can see it.
We're going to watch them eat each other.
Yeah, that's happening on a daily basis.
Yes.
If you know where to look. But I think the biggest message that I want to put out to everybody is stop living in fear. You're going to hear stuff. You're going to hear stuff. You're going to hear stuff on TV. You're going to hear this crazy thing happen, and you're going to get all fearful and worried. And oh my God, World War III is going to. Yeah, quit living in fear.
Total waste of time. Yep, you're right. Absolutely.
So
no fear.
That's kind of where my message is going to now, because
amen. I appreciate that, Jimmy.
Because we're getting to a point in this, and I call it a movie, but we're getting to a point in this movie where I'm not going to be able to wake anybody up.
No.
It's not going to happen. I might wake up somebody every now and again. I'm like, well, Jimmy, I've read this information, but for the majority, people have chosen their sides. That's why there's going to be a scare event.
Yeah.
So when that happens, don't freak out. So anyway, okay.
Keep up what you're doing, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Oh, Jimmy, Cindy Quick wanted to say hello.
Well, hello, Cindy Quick. I can't see the chat, and I know when I was on here earlier, a lot of people said, hey. So hello, everybody.
Well, she goes way back with you. I don't know if you remember her.
I remember Cindy. I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay.
Appreciate you coming on, Jimmy.
All right, guys. Y'all have. Yeah, I came back on here because the Braves are getting their butts beat. So I was like, well, let me walk away from the game a little bit. Let me walk away from the game and maybe they'll come back. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You
Love
too.
you.
Good night,
Night.
Jimmy.
Love you.
Later. Love y'all too.
Oh, we nailed that one. Hammered it out. Anyone want to?
Yeah, if anybody wants to come on, just go to the live stream at the top of the live chat. And are
Amy's-
people are you having a hard time hearing us?
No, Annie's on there twice. I see two Annies.
Oh, Annie,
Are there two Annies?
maybe you're on two different.
Are they two different? Oh, now I see one.
There you go.
That was
Boy,
my
you-
twin.
Oh,
I think it's right.
No, I thought I got off and I came back on. So must be I duplicated
Oh.
myself.
it must have been a split second where there was two of you on.
Yes. The world's not ready for that, believe me.
Don't sell yourself short, Annie.
Boy, that's a heavy duty conversation. I just listened.
Well, it's the reality is we're being played all over the
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like
agree
Jimmy
with
said,
that.
we're more than we suppose ourselves to be. We are more. We are more. And the last thing you want to do is be afraid when what they do. Oh, the things that they're going to do is terrible. It's really horrible. But you have to maintain our stability. It's like navigating through waters that get choppy.
Anyone else want to come on and join Gigi and Apostadude and Annie and us?
You know
Please
what?
feel free.
I'm sorry. I liked it better when I was in the dark. Too much information.
Well, in all fairness, I totally agree with you.
Me too. I liked it when I didn't know what was going on.
I know, and see, and that's so you almost have to take the attitude: I either will stay engaged and find out, or I'm gonna play games, my games, or do whatever I do for distraction all day.
So it looks like Dallas is backstage, Dallas, but you need to connect your mic. If you see a microphone, you need to turn it on. If you can do that, we'd love to see you.
Either that or I'm thinking of turning into an alcoholic.
Jeez.
Oh, but in the meantime, when we were talking about the
Chemtrails.
chemtrails,
Yeah.
our friend Mr. CIA in Long Island took this
Uh-huh.
picture just
Oh,
yesterday.
wow.
Holy
That was
smokes.
yesterday?
Those are in Long
yesterday?
Island, just
Oh
yesterday.
my God.
Oh, that's
Yep.
horrible.
Isn't it terrible?
Wow.
It kills me when people think they are made by that they're condensation trails.
Yeah, I heard
And
that.
they
Yeah.
and they like them. They like to see them. And boy, I'll tell you,
That's
Really?
awful.
I
Wow.
really could bite
Well,
my tongue.
You know, when we were growing up, weren't they called
Contrail.
contrails?
I remember them.
What was
And
it?
now they're chemtrails.
Well, we had a flyover because there was an air base. And so you could identify the contrail. It was blasting out of the back of the airplane, and then it was
Oh, yeah.
dissipating. It was dissipating.
You remember that, Gail?
But these
Yeah,
don't
I do.
dissipate.
Yeah, we're all about the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pasta Dude.
These don't dissipate.
Yeah, Pastor Dude, how old are you? He's not saying.
He's muted. You're muted, Pasta Dude.
I'll be 75 on the 4th of July.
Oh wow!
Are you? That's you, Gail?
Yeah.
I think I got you
On
down.
the 4th of July?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the old bag, Gail.
Yep, I got you
I'll
down.
be
Holy
75.
4th of July.
Yep.
Wow.
And also, yes, we can hear you.
Well,
Did she-
just to let you know that the No Kings protesters are planning something huge on the 4th of July because, of course, it's the 250th year anniversary of our lovely American country. So they want to do everything they can to spoil it for those who want to celebrate. I think Newsom wants to cancel 4th of July in his state.
Wow. Pasta Dude, were you going to say something?
Somebody asked my age.
Yeah,
Yes,
Gail
how
was
old are you?
wondering.
I wanted to
Yeah,
know.
I'm 29.
You don't retire at 29. Or maybe you could if you had a good job.
No, I was born shortly after they started spraying. A lot of people don't realize that they've been doing this for a long time. It's just
Yeah, they
built
have.
up into this, about 50, well, 70 years or so.
Wow.
But yeah, my vintage is 1950.
You were born 1950?
Yes, ma'am.
So wasn't I, July 4th, 1950.
April 2.
I got to tell you this. When I was little, I
Yeah.
thought, this is when the chemical pollution awareness was coming about. I was, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I thought, oh, man, what a thing to do with all the chemicals. They can just blow it out the back end of a jet high in the air and it'll all dissipate. And to me, that was like a solution to the pollution. It was a solution. Just get rid of it up there. And I think they were listening to me.
I think so. Gotta be careful what you say.
I was in the military, Joe, in the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
And I was stationed at a airlift supply place where they have those planes that can carry pallets and tons of stuff.
Yeah.
They used to train those guys where I worked, and touch and goes.
Yeah.
And talking about blasting a bunch of black soot and everything. That stuff in itself isn't as bad as what they're spraying.
Right. Oh, I believe it. I know.
Apostle, dude, you sound young for your age.
I'm been told that, and that's encouraging because I look old.
No, you don't. Is that why you don't show yourself? I'm just kidding.
No, I've gotten very physical since I got sick. So
I understand that.
I don't think it
better,
affected how I sound, but I'm feeling great.
That's
you sound
fabulous.
young.
I remember when you were going through that.
Yeah. Got through it. You got to get through it to get to it.
So were you in Vietnam?
No, I didn't go to Vietnam. I was over stateside in California.
Oh, okay.
And I'll even say Travis Air Force Base.
My husband died from Agent Orange.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You know they sprayed Agent Orange in Florida just to test it on people before they used it in Vietnam.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, they vaccinate you when you're in the military like crazy.
Oh,
It kind of works now. I don't know how they just take advantage of young people.
Well, I think they experiment too with them.
Yeah, they do.
That's awful, isn't it?
The more you know.
I wish I was a little kid again. Didn't know anything.
Yeah. There's sometimes you will wish you didn't know.
Yeah. Wasn't it great when you were a little kid growing up in the 50s and 60s?
Oh, yeah.
We will never see a time again like that.
No.
Yeah. But every step of the way, everybody thinks they're living in the worst times. It's like this thing about the last days and Christ coming. That's, all well and good, but they've been saying that since the Apostle Paul, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick when they say it only to exploit the idea.
Remember the bunker scares when we were kids with the bomb shelters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And getting under your desk.
Yeah.
Your desk was going to protect you from the bombs.
Yeah, even as a kid, I knew that didn't make sense.
It's
I know.
We'd go out in the hallway with our hands over the back of our heads. And I'm thinking, the ceiling is going to fall on us. How is our hands on the back of our head going to protect us? Stupid.
You know what I was thinking the other day as a kid? You don't see kids jump roping and playing hopscotch and all that like we did when we were little. You don't see any of that. It's kind of a shame.
Well, see, that's what they were talking about. That's what Yuri was talking about destabilizing the population.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day about sitting in an elementary school, because I'm in my 70s as well. And being that I was raised as a witness, and having fear about Armageddon, I wasn't so fearful about my safety. but I would sit and look at my teacher and think about the other kids in there.
Yeah.
And every time I heard a loud noise, I was always expecting military men to come in and break things up and take people away, and
Wow.
or Armageddon was going to come and I was going to see all these people die in front of me. And that was my biggest fear, was seeing dead faces of people, the death stare. But,
Yeah.
and it really got in the way of my ability to learn, because
Sure.
my mind was so distracted with
Yeah.
the, because Armageddon was coming any day, and here I was, a young kid, a very young kid, and couldn't learn. I had a difficult time learning because I couldn't focus. Plus, I came from a dysfunctional family, which didn't help anything either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was bizarre. Sorry, nobody has anything to say.
Well, we're thinking.
I know.
It's good to think. It's good
That's
to
a
think.
good one.
It's okay.
Oh.
Don't always have to speak.
Well, anybody else got anything to say? I think we covered everything.
Well, here's the one thing: I don't live in fear.
Good girl. Neither do I.
Not to say that I won't be afraid at some point, but I don't live in fear.
I agree with you. Do you have any children, Annie?
I have one. He was smarter than I. He never took to the quote unquote truth.
Neither do my kids. I don't know
He
what
figured
happened.
out by the age of 7, he knew it wasn't for him.
Really? Good for him.
You could see through it. So now I'm really glad, because I've been able to have an ongoing relationship with him, which I think I never would have totally sacrificed that anyways.
Yeah.
I was always kind of rebellious, even as a witness. I was kind of rebellious.
See, I want to go back to a question someone asked, about why I would say, who cares? In other words, as if don't bother caring. The question really is, what do you do with your care? In other words, if you have to do something functional and something practical with your care, otherwise it's going to result in being what happens when you need to do something that works and it doesn't work out, and you're stressed and you're in a dire circumstance because you care so much but you can't be effective, and it's a horrible feeling. And like Gail, you said, it was better off when you didn't know, because there's only so much you're going to be able to do for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
The more pressure is going to be on us, the more we know. We're going to be pressured to make the right response. And that's what's coming down. And that's one of the reasons why young children run into problems with sexual abuse, because they don't know how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, something's there, but they're confused, and they don't know how to respond. They don't even know it's happening. And had they known and were taught to react, then it would be good. Well, we could be in that same situation if we care so deeply about something, but we really don't know how to respond. It puts a person in a very what's the word I'm thinking of?
Unprotected.
Well, they care deeply, but they can't respond in a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrated, beyond
Right.
beyond
Right.
frustrated. beyond frustrated.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
You know, you've ever asked a person who's going through so much distress and ask them, well, why do you care so much? Because you can't do much about it. And you're in so much distress because there's nothing you can do about it. It happens in the face of death. Someone dies. And there's one person that's going to be so distressed they can't be comforted. Another person is going to be more comforted with how to respond.
But I think you can, if you stop caring, then you lose your humanity.
That's true.
And I
Gotta
didn't.
care.
I never wanted to stop. I didn't want to lose feeling in being a human.
Right. But along with that goes knowing the right way to respond. Otherwise, you're left with an intense distress. Feeling
Yeah,
like you
for
have
the
to
most part, the
respond,
only
but
way you can
not knowing
respond
how.
is just local. The people whose lives you can touch.
See, here's the way the government knows this. The government knows this better than we do. They know that they want to put us in a position of caring so deeply about a circumstance, but yet, what do? We don't know what to do. The government waltzes in and saying, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how to respond at that point. So that's where you have to be careful. You have not to be in that desperate situation where you cave in to what the government wants. You just have to be careful. You have to be prepared.
That'd be interesting, though, to see how they manipulate things.
Yeah, because they're experts at it. They know us better than we know ourselves.
They can herd people like cattle, and put you in such a destitute situation that you try and do is survive one day to the next.
I think the more we, I think the forums are good when we can share the information that we have with each other. And then like Doug and Stacy, that program, those guys, where they're doing practical things to take care of themselves.
Right.
Hello, Shauna. Did you want to say something? You're muted. Nope, I guess not.
How are we all doing? How you doing with the
okay.
heat? Does the heat have any tiring effect on you? I mean, does it give you energy or does it sap your energy?
Saps it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
What's
No.
it?
Unless I'm sitting by a pool.
Yeah.
I don't want the heat, man.
Yeah.
Well, and you're on the West Coast.
What kind of temperatures have you had, Pasta Dude?
Well, the summertime out here, it's a 4-season deal. We're gonna get a total over the summer about 8 days maybe or so of 105 plus.
Wow.
A lot of 94s.
Wow.
No.
And right now today it didn't hit 90.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not horrible out here, but this is a fire zone, man.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
When it gets hot, we already have one nearby about 7 miles away. But earlier, Joe, you said this point about they know us better than we know ourselves. That's the AI game. They are mining data for decades now. That's why you start.
We're helping them. We're helping them.
I was just in the bedroom where my little granddaughter was, and I haven't gotten into this yet because she's going through some trouble. So she's on her little cell phone, and she's talking to one of those GPT or whatever you call it. I forget, it's Gemini, I think.
Yeah.
And so I come in the bedroom. She's only 7, and she goes, I'm not going to talk right now. My grandpa just came in.
Oh,
Ooh.
And
no.
so I'm leaning down. I'm behind a box,
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
and the GPT says it looks like he's tidying up, which is I was doing something like that. And
Wow.
I turn around and says, I couldn't believe it. And I said, hey,
Wow.
Gemini, mind your own business. And the thing didn't say anything. You know,
Wow.
I might have
it was
cursed at it.
spooky, man.
Oh,
Wow.
gee.
But they know everything. They know when you're going to scratch your nose or
right.
whatever. They know everything now because they have taken thousands of people as subjects. They look at they have access to everything you do. Now they know where you are because you have a cell phone telling them. It's amazing what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the problem with what's coming. They're going to they'd rather have robots than you.
Yeah. Can I make
hope
a
they-
comment? What I learned in the mental health field with knowledge, I have a gift, and I'm very persevering. And I'm not bragging. I don't think I'm bragging. I was able to save 5 people's lives in my lifetime because of my
Wow.
perseverance. I will say, it's been a curse and it's been a blessing. And I used to get mad at my Heavenly Father because I would see things, feel things, and it got me into trouble sometimes because the stupid Jehovah's Witness had in my head that I would be blood guilty if I didn't say something.
Right.
So I wrestled. So I opened my mouth, and then when I opened my mouth, I got attacked for it. So I couldn't win, but sometimes it's actually saved my life a couple of times, being persevering and having knowledge, and other times it's been a curse. And I wish sometimes I didn't know. A lot of times I really didn't know. I
Yeah.
felt I was better off not knowing.
Yeah.
So I wrestled
No.
out myself.
I get it. I get it. It's so true. Now it carries an incredible responsibility.
It does, and I can't stand it at times.
And that's the point. That's the point. And that's why media takes full advantage of that. They take total advantage of laying on us things that they want us to know. They want you to know. They
Yep.
want. Just
I wish I could
like
turn a blind eye to it all, but I can't.
that's
not who I
the
am.
empath. You know, that's where we're designed that way. We're designed that way. That's why we have to be aware of our limitations.
Yep.
And I know you are, Gail. I know you are, because you've been through it.
Well, I'm a sap. I was told that by someone that I was too nice. How can you tell someone they're too nice? My boss
Hello,
told me
Cindy, quick,
Yeah,
and
you're
a
beautiful.
pasta babe.
that.
Hi,
What kind of
Cindy.
picture is that? Oh, it's a dragon?
Oh,
A bug?
I took that picture. It's a wooden statue that I took in a restaurant across the street from where we stayed when we visited Wallkill
What is
several
it?
years ago.
Is
It's
it a
just
bug?
a statue that was in the restaurant. I think it's an alien, maybe.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
that's
sure.
with a wig?
Yeah, I have another picture.
It looks like one of our neighbors.
I'm sorry to hear that. I have another picture with my niece standing right next to it, making the face. She looks almost like it.
That's funny. So how have you been, Cindy?
Oh, we've been good, but very busy. We're having a lot of exterior demolition right now in advance of some new construction. We're going to build a new deck on the side in front of the house.
Cool.
Yeah. That's in Rhode Island, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Nice. Thank you for joining. Anything special that you heard tonight or you wanted to respond to? I know you wanted to say hi to Jimmy.
I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I've been on and off on the live because we've been kind of eating and then showering and then doing dishes. So I've just been on and off. But I
That's
wanted to
called
tell you,
Life. That's right.
yeah,
Life happens.
That's right.
this video, the theme was slavery and freedom. And
Yes.
it just kind of made me think about the conversation that I was having with Greg yesterday, and how even though we feel that we've been set free from the confines of the organization that we left, a lot of us can still be slaves to that machine, so to speak. And that's kind of the conversation that I had with him yesterday, is that the organization thrives on the fuel that the apostates feed them.
Absolutely.
The apostates talk about the blood transfusions, the shunning, the child sexual abuse, like all of the same themes. We all tell the same stories in different words, but we keep feeding the machine by giving the Watchtower something to ridicule us about, and vice versa. So Watchtower will keep saying the apostates will talk about this and they'll talk about that, and they'll bring shame to the reputation of the organization. And it just keeps feeding that machine as long as we keep doing it. And I feel like I know this is good for us too, to have a community of people that can sympathize or relate to what we're experiencing. But I also encourage people to kind of let it go and stop feeding the Watchtower machine with more fuel for them to target the apostates. Because the less of us that keep attacking them, the less fuel that they have for their fire, and that fire will burn out. And more people will wake up. That's what I what I was
get what
thinking.
you're saying. I really get what you're saying, Cindy. I do. It seems like there's an interaction that takes place with people when something happens. And
Yeah, I was talking to Fran and Joe.
it's a feedback. There's a feedback loop that's taking place. And something has to enter in that breaks that loop, that breaks that feedback
Yeah.
loop.
Yep, that's all I had to say on that.
No, it's good. I appreciate
I've
it.
kind of
Thank
thought
you.
about that too, to some degree, because all that JW.org is about is refuting what the quote unquote apostates are talking about. So
Yeah.
we actually are giving them the fuel. We're giving them,
Exactly.
we're keeping JW.org going, because what are they going to talk about?
Yep. And then Watchtower gives the apostates their fuel, because then they keep saying, oh, the apostates say this and the apostates say that. And if your family member comes to you and talks to you about doubts that they're having, it's like Satan's voice talking to you, you know, and it just gives them more fuel to attack
It's almost
those of
like
us that leave.
it's almost like it's become circular.
Yep. But I
So,
have to
and I'm
actually run. But it was nice talking to everybody, and I'm going to listen
Thank
to
you,
the rest
Cindy.
of the
Give us
conversation
something
later.
good to think about, Cindy. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. And say hi to Greg.
All right, Greg. She says hi.
Love you both. Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good night. And we've got a pasta babe and
Dallas.
what happened? There we go.
Dallas.
Wild
Well,
Wall and Dallas.
hi there,
Dallas,
y'all.
get on.
Oh, I like your
Good
voice.
job, Dallas. He's been trying to get on.
I can't believe I made it in.
You're here.
All right. Give
Love
Dallas
that southern accent.
clap for Dallas.
And it's because part of me is it's my North Carolina heritage.
Beautiful.
And I do have some relatives from North Carolina.
Yeah, and Wild Wall
Like
is
Wild Wall.
Wild Wall's from North Carolina too. And Jimmy Bell was just on.
That's right.
I think we got North Carolina beating us tonight.
And guess somebody, y'all know where Greenville is?
Yeah,
Yes, we were there.
We were there, yeah.
And you know what? My grandma is from Greenville.
Nice area. Very nice area.
But my grandparents, they were longtime residents of Arlington, Virginia. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
And and they're in Arlington National Cemetery. And if you're there, please, y'all pay your respects to them,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I will remember them for ages.
Oh,
Nice.
that's nice.
Nice.
Nice,
Beautiful
Dallas.
Beautiful sentiment.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And I know that Apasta Babe has been waiting. Hi, Apasta Babe.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Lily.
I'm so shocked that he made it here. I'm just
I
like so
know.
thrilled you're here, Dallas. Woo-hoo!
We can
You
put a
figured
face
it out
on the
or
name.
something. I don't know what happened, but I'm just like, woo, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
we can put a face on the names now.
And he's showing his picture too.
Yeah.
Yep. Quite handsome.
You too,
Very
Wild
handsome.
Wild.
Yeah, Wild Wall's showing his face with the sunglasses.
Liking the sunglasses, Wild Wild. Incognito.
Forgive me, Wild Wall. I was distracted by Dallas. I didn't see you up there. Yep, there you are. All
I gotta
handsome
ask
too.
you guys in North Carolina, how hot was it there today?
92.
Okay.
Oh my.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
about the
Today.
same.
Yeah. We've been too hot here. We had 90, I think 98
Yeah,
yesterday.
we
It
did.
didn't hit 100 yesterday, Joe and Fran.
Just under.
98.
It hit 102 here.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Wow. I don't do well in the heat.
Yeah, I saw 99.
Wow.
Wow.
I got a quick question. This is a new computer, a new laptop. Is it too loud or too low right now?
No,
Kind
you
of low
sound
right
right.
now.
You sound good, Wild Wild.
Okay. I just didn't want to bust anybody's eardrums.
No, not here. Not
I'm
here.
still getting used to this. This is part of my anniversary present.
Yes,
Happy
happy anniversary.
anniversary.
This is
Oh,
the
oh,
anniversary
Happy
today.
anniversary.
Today.
Well, happy anniversary.
And
That's right.
yes.
Oh, I
And
got
Patty.
right, yeah.
She's
Patty
the other
says
half.
hi to both of y'all. I got a couple of things real quick. Well, this is a card I got. Do you recognize these cards, Fran? I don't know if it's from 2 years.
Yes. Yes.
I sure appreciate those.
Okay.
Patty did too. That was awesome.
Oh,
And the
you're
next
welcome.
thing, the next thing is for Gail. I gotta let her know I haven't forgot about her.
Oh, that's right. The Age of Bible Understanding. Thank
Holy
you, Wild Wild.
smokes.
It's yours.
Yeah, right. That ain't what it is. It's a aid to Bible twisting.
That's right.
Bible twisting. Aid to Bible twisting.
No, Dallas.
That's our Dallas. He gives,
Well,
a different, he
because
gives it
they
a different flavor.
referenced, they referenced, what the heck was his name? The guy from Germany who was into demonology, and they quoted him a few times, and he was in the aid book. I wish I remembered his name. Joseph or Jose, whatever the heck it was.
Are you talking about the
And
guy
that's
that
what
had
they
to
got
do
rid
with
of it.
John 1:1?
No. Yes,
Johannes
him.
Grieber?
Johannes Grieber.
Thank you. Well,
Okay.
he's in that book, and that's why they got rid of it.
He is somebody quoted by the organization for John 1:1. And
Yes,
sometimes
that's
I've heard
right.
people
Also,
say,
yeah, because Ray
I
Franz
thought, yeah,
wrote.
Ray Franz was behind it.
Yeah,
That's
he
right,
also
Linda.
wrote part of it.
Yeah.
It
so
was
I've heard
his
people say
assignment.
that the New World Translation was written in, like, copied from Johannes Grieber's Bible.
Wow.
Yeah.
From what I understand,
Absolutely.
that's not the case.
Hey,
That's from what I understand. That's not a case. They had a committee. They quoted him on like John 1:1, using him as some form of an authority because he has that the word was a God rather than the word was God
Yeah,
on John
that's
1:1. But I've heard, I believe that's an accurate thing. And if it is accurate that the Watchtower copied Johannes Grieber's whole Bible, I need to find the proof for that then. So, because the people that have said it, well, I just never heard of it that way. I've heard of it as they quoted him to back up John 1:1 and maybe a couple of other scriptures. And then his wife was a medium, and his wife helped write this Bible. So that implied that there was spirits from the other side. or something to that effect, right?
That's true.
Linda, do
So-
you know the
Right
name
on.
of his Bible? Sorry. Linda,
Do I
you
know the
na-
name? No, but what's his name? That one guy. Oh gosh, he's a black guy.
Oh,
And
Jason
he'll talk-
Salzer.
Thank you. One of his videos showed that Bible, and it has a big cross on the front of it.
Yep.
Yes, so I know what it kind of looks like, but I haven't.
Yeah, he did a podcast on all the different Bibles that they used in the organization. Gee, there was a whole
Okay.
bunch of them.
Okay.
Hmm.
But I believe they had a body of people that came up with the New World Translation that came out in 1961. Especially the New Testament or whatever. But
Yeah, you know,
anyways,
they lied. And
oh
then
yeah,
the body come out and admitted they wrote one of the. I think it was the 2013 one. They lied about who wrote it, but they're the ones that did it.
yeah. The organization, especially
Absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Crazy Freddie Franz. That man was quite unique. I'll tell you what. He
Yeah,
was a
piece of
trip.
work.
Like really different, but indignant at the same time. There's a story about him when he left. He was in seminary school, and he quit seminary school to go to Bethel and work under Rutherford, right? So
Yeah.
he gets a phone call from his mom because his father died, and he's like, "Yeah, sorry, Mom, I can't show up. I got too much work to do here." She was livid. She called the Judge Rutherford herself, okay? She called Rutherford herself and told him what for. And Rutherford came out and told Fred Franz, "You will go to your father's funeral."
Wow.
You're going.
Wow.
Because I think he was just, I tend to think he was
Wasn't
on
he
the
disfellowshipped?
spectrum. I don't think so. I'm talking Fred Franz. His nephew was Raymond Franz, someone
Oh,
that,
him. Okay, he's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah. I get them confused. Doesn't take much to confuse me.
yeah, they suggested that he resign from the governing body. Then he found a place to live, and he started going to the Kingdom Hall locally. And then the elders there wanted to have him in the elder body, and Bethel turned that down. They said no. They wouldn't let Raymond Franz be an elder. But the reason I'm here is because AIDS is a hoax. What's up with that? Okay.
Yeah, I
AIDS
just
is
heard
a
that.
hoax.
I
It's
just
not
learned
what
that
they
tonight,
presented
too.
it to be.
This is I did hear that, what is it? RFK Jr. I did hear that, am I saying the right letters?
Yeah, that's
RFK
correct. Yep,
Jr.?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Virginia.
He believes that there's more than simply HIV that causes AIDS. I had read about that. But I mean, we used to make a big old blanket and kept adding on sections from all the people that died. And
Yeah,
it
they
was
made quilts
huge.
too. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
people
that's what it
died,
was.
but wasn't
All these
so big.
quilts sewed together that you could take down the street. It was huge. So
Yeah.
there was many deaths. And
There
am I to
was.
understand that? What am I to understand about all those deaths then?
I don't know.
If AIDS is a hoax. Oh, here's Jimmy. Okay. Yes, Linda. All viruses have patents, which means they are all created. Yeah, I don't know enough about viruses to make that make sense.
Hey, Linda,
Yes.
do
Thank
you
you, Jimmy.
remember? Do you remember when I was on your show? I think it was last week, and I shared that clip from Frank Zappa. What he said about
Wow.
AIDS back in 1986.
Yes.
What did he say?
I wish I could pull it up. Does anybody out there that is real good with StreamYard, can you type in Frank Zappa and Joan Rivers? It's an interview. I think everybody needs to see what he said. And if you don't know who Frank Zappa is,
Oh, I know who he is.
yeah, if you Google Frank Zappa's IQ, wait till you see what his IQ
I
was.
know he's pretty smart.
Yeah, and the establishment didn't want to take Frank Zappa on. But listen at what he said in 1986 about AIDS.
Thank you,
It's just
Jimmy.
a 1 minute part.
Depopulation agenda.
Let's see. What's funny is I've got it here on my computer, but I'm not sure how to share this thing because I'm not that familiar with.
Can you read
StreamYard.
it?
It's a video,
It's
actually.
It's actually a little video.
Oh.
But if anyone can find it that's good at sharing stuff, all you got to do is type Frank Zappa, Joan Rivers, and it's actually down at the bottom. It says Frank Zappa Interview Collection. And it's like a 9-minute video, but the only 1 minute I'd like to extract from that is from the 6-minute mark to the 7-minute mark. It's what he says in that minute will blow your mind. And he's got good references because his father worked for the establishment. His father, if you look at the wiki for Frank Zappa, he worked for the laboratories and for the military, and he kind of had some background. That's why they didn't want him. Yeah.
His father.
His father was a very intelligent man, and so was Frank Zappa. So, but
Thanks for that.
yeah, I wish I could share this real quick. Let me see.
Okay, girlfriend, Miss Mermaid just put it in the link in the chat. So,
yeah, if somebody can, if she put it there,
if somebody can copy and paste that, and give it to probably my good wife, but not my good wife. Brian's good wife.
Yeah, I would say either
she's taken,
or Shauna. Either one could do it.
She's taken. She wouldn't be my good wife. She's Vern's good wife.
Oh dear.
But her label is my good wife. Yeah.
But I like how Frank words it back in 1986. It's not so much that AIDS was a hoax.
That's the Frank Zappa, Joan Rivers interview.
Yeah, go ahead, Shauna, please.
Oh, yeah.
And hi, Seth and Felicia.
Thank you so much, Mermaid.
Hi, Seth and Felicia.
Will you? Can you?
Well, hi there, Seth, Felicia. Hi, Dakota. Happy birthday there.
You remember? He's a 2-year-old now. Can you remind her that timestamps again?
Yeah, the timestamp is from the 6-minute to the 7-minute mark.
In the,
it's just 1 minute. Anybody's welcome to watch the whole interview. It's a really good interview.
You can tell everyone. Say hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Happy birthday.
Say love you all. Thank you.
You're up late.
He is up a little late. It's a night.
How old is he, Seth? How old is he?
He just turned 2.
Oh, the terrible 2s. Good luck.
They started about a year ago.
Sorry.
2.
Hi. 2.
Jinx it.
Yes. Shauna says she can't get it from the link. She has to look it up on YouTube. So give her a few minutes.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. And
I appreciate that.
Frank Zappa goes back to a lot of us old timers.
Yes, he does.
He was a little bit before my time, but he was a very good musician, artist. A lot of people talk about Prince, what an IQ Prince had. I think Frank Zappa was probably even higher than Prince, but because they were both self-taught musicians, and it wasn't just the musician part; it was what the education he had behind it, as well as intelligence. It's one thing to have knowledge, but wisdom is being able to apply that knowledge. And Frank Zappa had a lot of wisdom, and some people referred to him as a conspiracy theorist back in '86 when he said this, but it holds true so much today. And we shared this on Linda's program, but I don't think everybody saw all of it, but they saw that 1 minute. But he was willing to say this on national TV to Joan Rivers, which I know a lot of y'all know who she was.
Wild Wall. Do you know what minute mark it's at?
It's at 6 minute to the 7-minute mark. It's just
okay. Thank you.
It's called Frank Zappa Interview Collection, to know that you got the right one. The total thing is like 9 minutes, but I'm only interested in the 6 minute to the 7-minute mark. And he talks about AIDS, and what he says in that 1 minute will it made the audience gasp. And it's like, he had some knowledge.
I mean, we were learning about it in 1981, 82, 80, 81, 82. It's like new news to us, still very shocking.
Oh, there he is.
This is it.
About these green monkeys, and then they remind you that this is a sexually transmitted disease. I have one big question. Who's pluking the monkeys? once you get past that seems like kind of an implausible theory if you look at it that way. So I offer 3 other possible scenarios. 1, because remember, it is announced suddenly one day in November, 700 people died from a disease we never heard about before. One possibility, it came from outer space. Another one, it came from a government laboratory. Not saying whose, could have escaped, could have been done on purpose as a test on civilians. The other possibility is it came from a private sector laboratory for money. Because when they find the pill that you can take to let you do it again, somebody's going to make some money. There's no question about that.
Stephanie, it's
Thank you, Shauna.
And
Thank
John,
you, Sean.
John in the chat just mentioned Valley Girl. It's Frank Zappa's daughter that sang Valley Girl.
Yeah, he's got a
really?
son too, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. He has a son.
Okay.
What
And
I
we
want to know.
Want to welcome Dinah
Sorry, go ahead.
Lost.
Go ahead.
Hi,
Dinah.
Dinah Lost.
Welcome on, Donna.
Dinah.
And sorry to hear about your mom too.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hi,
I knew y'all were fixing to end, so I was like, I caught a little bit of the show, so I was just gonna hop in and join the party.
Yeah,
Well, I'm happy you joined us here.
Did somebody ask what happened?
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Yeah, what happened with Mom? I don't know.
So she was supposedly doing well, but she apparently just slumped over and died. So they don't really know what happened, but they didn't want to do an autopsy, so they just she's already been cremated. But she's had a long battle with healthcare, and I have a lot of opinions about where all that comes from, because being in the organization and the toll it does on your body, and when you learn about psychology and the health and the just the mental conditions that come from being in a cult, it's just kind of hard to watch.
The cortisone level.
She did a lot of prescription medications, and it was just hearing her talk about, oh, well, I'm doing better, I'm not on as many medications and stuff. And since I worked in the pharmacy, I was a little more aware of the combinations of medications and aware of when someone was in trouble with prescriptions, and in my opinion she was. So to me, they said she wasn't taking anything like that anymore, but it's just like in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't know.
Dinah, how old was your mom?
Oh, we didn't celebrate birthdays. She was born in 59, so
oh wow, she was young.
Yeah, she wasn't due.
Wow.
Yeah, that organization does do a lot to people, to their mental health, and so many are on medications. And
Absolutely, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's evil, vile. It's nothing but a fraud through and through. That's what it is.
I agree. And I wasn't going. I'm gonna probably have to get somebody to record it, because I can't watch this Zoom JW BS. I can't do all that. But at some point, like
it's all going to be
sickening
about
part of
jw.org.
Yeah.
So we just
nothing
lost.
to do with the deceased, the fallen. It has nothing to do with them. So I can't.
We just lost.
That, because the matter is
we just lost. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to jump in there, and I always do it in the wrong spot, the wrong place, wrong time. I'm used to that. Sorry, guys.
No, you're
but
fine.
I was going to jump in there and say we just lost my wife's grandma not long ago, and she was had a JW memorial. The only one in the family left in the JWs is my mother-in-law, and she got to plan the memorial. Well, we did attend. We kept it on mute most of the time, but I mean, listened, and they maybe said 3 sentences about her, and the rest was complete indoctrination, complete. Well, at the end, the guy, the speaker said, because everyone else in the family left, and the speaker said that her grandma would not want nothing more than to have you come back, and you guys know who I'm talking about. You need to come back to God. Well, that hurt us really bad, and so we all got on the text line and let him know. He thought he done a great job at the memorial. He really did. The
Public shaming is a really good job.
So we done a second one. We done a second one on Zoom, and it went great. It was all about her. It was all about her life, and it was beautiful. The second one was beautiful.
Well, I already knew
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't gonna go, but the fact is they made the funeral at, like, she doesn't even live in that area anymore, but they made the funeral in the congregation where all this bad stuff happened to me. Like, first off, I'm not gonna go to that. If I was gonna go to any congregation, why would you put it at the hometown where all the sick crap happened?
Right?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry to hear
we
about
get
all
that 100%.
Sorry, Diana.
And it's like, and then my brothers just fellowshipped, and my dad was like, oh, well, you know, he decided he was going to go down there, and he was like, well, you can go to the Kingdom Hall event, but you're not allowed to come to the family events afterwards. And I'm like, are you for real? Like, how is that loving?
That's so sick. That is sick.
That's his mother.
Yeah,
Like, his mother passed away, and you're basically saying, I said, if that was me, I didn't give you the opportunity, because I had already decided I wasn't going to get myself involved in that toxic environment. But if you had said that to me, like, I clearly told you that I stopped breathing going into a Kingdom Hall. So you're saying that I can only see you in a place that I can't breathe. Or you can come privately shame visit me somewhere else. No, thank you. Like, that's ridiculous. How could you feel like that is love? That feels like love to you? So I'm a little bit emotional. As you guys
Willie
can tell.
Willie in the chat said, I think he's saying, or she's saying that they got an uninvite to their mother's funeral. Can you imagine an uninvite?
They have
Our hearts are really heavy with you, and we're here to support you. I know that's not just one of us. That's all of us here. We're so sorry. It hurts. We are here with you.
If you want to make something for yourself, time for yourself to remember her, we can do something ourselves. If you want.
Absolutely. If you want us there.
If that's something you want. If not, no problem.
Oh no, I think I'm taking the girls to go pick out a few things of their grandmother, because they had a very different relationship, and I want them to have the opportunity, because I don't want their memory to be that their mother wouldn't even let them go pick out something of their grandmother, and them not understanding why, and da. So I'm trying to be a better person for my girls. So, but it's going to be hard for me, because I have to be around. I have to put a mask on, and I hate doing that.
Yeah. Let's me and you chat a little bit later. Someplace. Discard or Messenger or something, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have Discord anymore.
Okay, Messenger maybe?
Would Fran give her my number? She can.
Yes, please.
Might have it.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That
Thank you
sounds
for
perfect.
coming on. Thank you for coming on, Dinah Lost. We appreciate you sharing that. I know it's been hard for you. And, anything that you need, let us know. A listening ear. And if anyone wants a Dinah Lost number, let us know, and we'll be glad to give it to you.
And if I don't respond, it's nothing. I'm just a little, I'm probably just overwhelmed.
We understand. Thank you, Dinah.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, thank you all.
Hi, Joe and Fran. I'm just here quickly to give the movie night announcement.
Nice.
So if anybody is interested in watching the movie with us, join the Discord server. One of the mods would put a link in the chat, and you will see an event starting really soon. As soon as we hop off of here, I am going to start it. We are going to be watching Steel Magnolias 1989.
Get some tissues.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. I
Oh,
love this
man.
movie. I love this
Dolly
movie.
Parton for the win. Dolly Parton for the win.
Get some
Oh,
tissues.
really?
Get some
I have never
tissues.
seen this. That's awesome.
Do
Okay.
you watch the videos, Ruby? Do you watch them too?
What videos?
No, you're watching this one tonight.
Oh, yes. Tonight I'm gonna be
Okay.
watching this one. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. So if anybody else wants to join us, hit the link and definitely come watch with us. Dang it, really? Somebody should have warned me that it was gonna be sad. I don't want to cry.
Well, it's
There's
not
a lot of
whole
good
thing,
comedy in
but
it
there's a
first.
lot of emotions in the movie.
It's
there's a lot
an
of comedy.
emotional comedy. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a roller
There's a lot of
coaster,
funny
but
stuff.
it's
You're
good.
gonna like
Little
it.
on the
Like
chick
one
flick side.
character, I know for sure.
Okay. And just another quick announcement, a special condolences to Dinah, of course, and a thank you to Joe and Fran for coming on here so religiously on Wednesday nights. I maybe that was
Ruby.
the wrong word.
Yeah, Ruby, we don't use that word.
Sorry, guys.
Faithfully, not religiously.
Sorry. I'll speak for
That's-
myself.
that's
I come here all the time.
That's
I
okay.
love you guys. So thank you to
Thank
Joe
you.
and
Thank you,
Fran.
Shauna. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you,
Thank you.
Laura.
Well, good to see you all.
All right,
Thank
bye,
you, Jay.
guys.
So
Good night,
Thank you all.
everybody. Thank you.
Love
good
you.
night. There's
Hey,
going to
God,
be a
love
link in the
with
chat.
you.
Dallas,
Good
it was good to
night.
see you. You too.
Good, great to see you,
Love
JG.
love
Nice
your
job
Southern
getting on,
accent.
Dallas.
I think that it's because I want relatives that's going like to remember them and remember that they were real North Carolinians.
Not like us Yankees, huh?
For the win.
But
For
you'll
the
be
win.
at home, don't worry. Y'all's gonna be at home. And about nice meeting you, Seth, Felicia, and Dakota, and a happy birthday to Dakota.
Okay,
Love you.
everybody.
Love you.
Good night,
Love
everybody.
you.
Have a nice weekend.
You